अच्छा तो बताओ, लाइव हो गया, शुरू हो गया? ओके। Good evening everyone. I'm Santosh Kumar and I'll be taking your current affairs classes for Pre-Cum-Mains 2025. Okay, so today is our first class. All of you have the booklet for today. It's a smaller booklet because this week we're having only one class. From next week we'll have classes on both Saturday and Sunday, so we'll be covering more topics. Okay, so even the students who are watching it online, please see that in the description of the video we have the PDF notes available, तो आप वहाँ से download कर सकते हैं. Before I go into today's class, before I talk about the news thing, what is happening, let me briefly take you through what are we going to do for the next 15 months. In your preparation for 2025 examination, I'm one person who will be constant. Worst case में every Saturday, Sunday will be meeting. है ना? Even on the day of preliminary examination, I would expect you to come here after prelims to discuss our paper. At 6 PM we start our paper discussion. So till September 2025, every Saturday, Sunday, we are for sure gonna meet. Either it will be for revision, for solving MCQs and all, we are going to meet. So I'm one person who's going to be constant in your preparation. So what are we going to do for the next 15 months? How is it going to benefit you? How you should plan your studies? Let us briefly discuss those aspects before we jump into studying for today's class. Okay, देखो, as you all know, or many of you may already be knowing it, we conduct current affairs classes in 3 different phases. The phase that starts today and it will go on till mid-January, January 2025, is considered as Pre-Cum-Mains phase. Here we study both for prelims and mains examination. We study for both prelims and mains examination. So till mid-January, we'll be studying for both prelims and mains. How will we study it? Every week you'll have this kind of printed notes with you, where you will have GS1 topics, GS2 topics, GS3 topics. I'll try to make it in question answer format as far as possible. Sometimes the topic is too vast that it cannot be made in just one question, and that those topics would not be in question answer format, but I'll try to make all these mains topics in question answer format. So every week we'll cover around 15 mains topics, and then you'll also have, other than GS1, GS2 and GS3, you'll also have some prelims facts. So those would be the things we'll specifically be studying for prelims. Those are not important for mains. But please note the things that you study for mains. जैसे आज आप Hooch tragedy के बारे में पढ़ोगे, आज आप Changi 6 के बारे में पढ़ोगे, आज today you'll study about speaker or deputy speaker. ये सब अभी न्यूज़ में चल रहा है. These things are also relevant for pre. So anything that we study in GS 1, 2, 3 is relevant for pre also, but primarily we'll study it from the perspective of mains, and then there will be some prelims facts. Those prelims facts are not relevant for pre, उसे हम mains के लिए, oh sorry, those prelims facts are not relevant for mains, उसे we'll do only for preliminary examination. Okay, in this phase, every week you have 2 classes, Saturday, Sunday. Every week you have 2 tests also, because we are studying for both prelims and mains. We should be attempting tests for both prelims and mains. So every Sunday you have one objective test and one subjective test. Okay, and these tests will not only be for your current affairs, because see, I started teaching way back in 2016-17, and after 1 year of my teaching I realized something. I was very dedicated. I was taking tests every Sunday, and all my students did very well in current affairs. But because वो हर संडे को करंट अफेयर्स के टेस्ट के लिए पढ़ रहे थे, they ignored their static portion. I do not want that to be happening. So these tests will not only be for current affairs, these tests will be for both current affairs and static portion. So every Monday, जैसे next Sunday you have a test, next Sunday I think it will be 7th of July, 7th of July you have a test. 7 days before that, every Monday you will be given the syllabus, which will include the current affairs syllabus plus some static syllabus. जो स्टैटिक पोर्शन चल रहा है, वी ट्राई टू कीप इट इन सिंक विद आवर जीएस फाउंडेशन बैचेस, सो दैट जीएस फाउंडेशन में हम जीएस 1 2 3 4 पूरा कवर करेंगे। आपके टेस्ट भी जो बच्चे सिर्फ करंट अफेयर्स में, स्टूडेंट्स हु आर ओनली पार्ट ऑफ करंट अफेयर्स प्रोग्राम, इफ दे आर इन सिंक विद दोज टेस्ट्स, they'll be able to, by February they'll be able to revise their entire GS 1 2 3 4 just through these tests. If you work as per this test, it's our promise to ensure you that entire thing you get every bullet point of the syllabus, GS1 GS2 GS3 GS4 में जो mentioned है आपको syllabus में मिले, और आप खुद से पढ़ के वो static वाला portion, current affairs I'll be covering, static वाला portion आप खुद से पढ़ के by February you should be fully prepared for your examination, your main section. Are you getting it? So we'll have two tests, one objective test, one subjective test. It will be both for prelims and mains, and these tests have also been planned in such a manner that you should be able to revise your entire syllabus 3-4 times. How? देखो, you'll have weekly tests. जैसे अभी हमारे GS Foundation में history और geography चल रहा है, so you'll have the current affairs syllabus, you'll have history and geography syllabus. ऐसे आपके 4 वीकली टेस्ट हो जाएंगे विथ हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी सिलेबस, बट देन विल टेक अ मंथली टेस्ट विच विल हैव अ सिलेबस विच कंसिस्टेड ऑफ ऑल दी इंडिविजुअल 4 वीक सिलेबस, दूसरी बार आप रिवाइज करोगे। ऐसे विल हैव अ क्वार्टरली टेस्ट, 3 मंथली टेस्ट, विल हैव अ 6 मंथली टेस्ट. So if you will follow what is being given to you in test syllabus, you will not have to worry about what should be my strategy for studies. मैं बच्चों से ये बोलता हूँ, संडे का टेस्ट का सिलेबस देख, पढ़ने लग जा. Start doing well there, and you will see that your entire GS syllabus properly gets covered, properly gets taken care of. Okay, are we understanding the first phase? So first phase की classes will go on till mid-January. After that we'll start prelims का preparation. But first phase के test will go on till February. February तक आपके mains के test भी होते रहेंगे. So by February end, we want to ensure that your entire GS 1, 2, 3, 4 through tests get covered, other than covering entire current affairs. Are we clear with it? Any doubts here? You have some doubt? Then we'll come to a target prelims phase. Target prelims. Here we will study only for preliminary exam. So from mid-January current affairs class में हम पूरा फोकस प्रीलिम्स पे शिफ्ट, राइट. हियर वी वर फॉर मेंस वी वर स्टडीइंग टिल मिड जैन, फ्रॉम मिड जैन और इसे देते हैं जैन टू अप्रैल वी विल स्टडी फॉर प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन. एंड ये मत सोचो मई आपके पास, मई में वी कंडक्ट RTFQ, रिवाइज थ्रू 500 क्वेश्चन, वेयर वी रिवाइज एंटायर syllabus for preliminary examination with the help of 500 questions. So we'll be meeting in May also, but current affairs classes, core current affairs teaching classes would be till April. So January to April we'll be studying, we'll be focusing on preliminary examination. Now in this phase what we do is, देखो there are some areas जिसका मैं आपको current affairs भी कराऊंगा और static basic भी पूरा कराऊंगा, जिसमें you will not have to touch any other resource. जैसे my subjects like science and technology. Science and technology, if you are part of current affairs program, it's my responsibility. Both for preliminary examination and mains examination, you will not need to do anything. In current affairs program, we will cover each and everything that is needed for your preparation. Environment, biodiversity, international relations, and international mapping. These are some areas which I'll cover thoroughly. You do not have to refer to any other source. Your complaint would be, sir आपने ज़्यादा पढ़ा दिया है. Your complaint would not be that something has been missed. Then for some other topics like history, geography, polity, I'll just be covering current affairs. ये तो static चीज़ें. If I start covering basics of those also, then it becomes a GS foundation program. So history, geography, polity, economy. For your preliminary examination, you should, if you know the basics of, if you are comfortable with the basics of history, geography, polity, economy, we'll cover current affairs related to history, geography, polity, economy. We will cover both current affairs and static portion of these things, and you will see that your entire preparation for preliminary examination is done. Here, every week you'll have an objective test. rather than having both subjective and objective. March April में every week you'll have an objective test. April May में you'll have 2 tests, both GS का and CSAT. वो हम समीक्षा रन करते हैं 5 weeks के लिए, तो there you get GS test also and CSAT. This is the second phase of the current affairs. Are we comfortable here? Are we getting it? Then we'll come to the third phase. जैसे आपका जो पिछले साल वाला बैच है, the students who started studying with me in 2023, for them the third phase is going on after preliminary exam. In third phase, which we call target means, we cover entire GS2 and GS3. सिलेबस में एक एक बुलेट पॉइंट जो मेंशन, हमने थ्रू आउट द ईयर वी वुड हैव स्टडीड अ लॉट ऑफ इट ऑलरेडी, but there will ensure that each and every bullet point which is mentioned in GS2 and GS3 syllabus gets covered. Our expectation by this time would be this, that you know fundamentals of polity and fundamentals of economy. हम यहाँ पे आके आप ये नहीं बताएंगे what is GDP and what is GNP, right? That's not relevant for mains examination, that basic fundamental that you should be knowing. So we will, in the target mains phase, revise entire GS2 and GS3, and in this phase, in every class we'll write 4 answers. तो देखो pre-cum-mains में every Sunday you're writing test. इस वाले phase में we'll take around 40 classes. In June, July, August we'll take around 40 classes. In those 40 classes, 40 bullet points of the syllabus is what we want to cover. In every class we want to write 4 answers. So in 40 classes you'll be writing 160 answers. 160 answers are equivalent to 8 full paper. So only for GS2 and GS3 you will be, if properly following the program, you will be writing 8 full papers in a semester. Okay, so this is the 3 phase in which we will be running our current affairs. Okay, do we have any doubts here? जो GS फाउंडेशन वाले बच्चे हैं, आपकी नॉर्मल क्लासेस हैं, आपके टेस्ट इसके साथ सिंक में है. There is nothing that changes other than the fact that you're doing the classes. Nothing changes. Any doubts about the current affairs program? Anyone having any doubts? No? Everyone is comfortable? Okay. So let us start with today's class. Let us understand how we are going to do things. So if I take you here, just in the index, you will see, because we had only 1 class, so we are covering limited number of topics. We have 8 topics for mains examination and 8 to 10 topics for preliminary examination. Mains में, if you are following newspaper, अच्छा, one more thing. What happens to the newspapers? है ना? Many students assume that because you are doing this current affairs program with me, you do not have to refer to newspaper. No, that's completely wrong. Newspaper पे research नहीं करना है, newspaper पे बैठ के detailed notes नहीं बनाने हैं, but every day 45 minutes at least you should be spending on the news, and 1 hour at max. If it goes beyond 1 hour, आप अपना clock stopwatch शुरू करके रखो. If it's going beyond 1 hour, stop it. Anyways, if anything is important, we are going to cover it in class, but all of you should be spending 45 minutes to 1 hour in newspaper every day. एक या तो हिंदू या इंडियन एक्सप्रेस. Get one of those newspapers and flip through the entire newspaper. Flip through. Headlines तो सारी देख लो. Headlines सारी देख लो. Sometimes Amit Shah would be criticizing Rahul Gandhi. Sometimes Rahul Gandhi would be criticizing Amit Shah. उसमें नीचे मत पढ़ना कुछ भी. सब useless होता है. Political news is useless for us. But still, look at the entire newspaper. Look at every headline so that you are aware of what's going on. Then, in sometimes you will start understanding your syllabus properly. जो चीजें आपके syllabus में हैं, वो you can read in details. So that when you come to this class, you'll have slight idea of what's going on. In this class, for every topic that I am teaching, I'll go through tens of newspaper articles. I'll do a lot of research from other books also, other magazines also, and will give you concise notes which is needed. If you were doing it, you would have spent 5-6 hours in only one topic. That is not feasible. A lot of students end up wasting a lot of time in this manner. But awareness रहना चाहिए. So one newspaper every day, anyone, Hindu or Indian Express would do, you have to read. Stopwatch लगा के बैठो, 45 minutes done. If on that day something important is there, you may give maximum 1 hour, but किसी भी दिन न्यूज़पेपर को 1 hour से ज़्यादा नहीं देना है. Even if something important is left, कोई बात नहीं, class में we are anyways going to do it. It's not going to be missed. So we have to read newspaper every day. We have to flip through the newspapers every day. And initially, if you have doubts ki which article should be read, I have a Telegram channel there. Every day in the morning, I post which are the articles which should be read from different newspapers, Hindu, Express, but you do not have to go through all of it. आपके घर में अगर हिंदू आ रहा है तो बस वो हिंदू वाले आर्टिकल्स देख लीजिए, जो मैंने 5-6 हिंदू के आर्टिकल्स डालेंगे. एटलीस्ट read them in the sense rather than just headline, go through the detailed content also. But again, it should not take more than 45 minutes to 1 hour, not more than that. Do not start making notes. देखो, that's what I'm doing. You will see आपको हर topic का concise plus detailed also. We will not have unnecessary stories. We'll have only those things which are needed for examination. But because I'll not just go through one newspaper article, you'll see detailed coverage of that topic also. You're already getting it. What you focus on is writing answers, and later after some time I'll speak to you about कि जैसे आपका syllabus complete होता जाता है, उन सबके एकदम short notes, every topic in 20-25 words summarize करके वो बनाने होंगे तो वो बनाएंगे. Otherwise नहीं. What happens when you are starting your preparation? Many of you may have written examinations in the past, but many of you may be preparing for 2025 examination and thus have just started your preparation. When you start your preparation, you are unaware of what is important, what is not important, and what you end up doing is पूरे newspaper article में सब कुछ useful लगता है, and you end up making its copy. ये भी अच्छा है, ये भी सही बात है, ये भी मुझे नहीं पता, ये भी मुझे नहीं पता. You end up underlining everything and you end up copying everything. And 6 months, 1 year down the line, जब समझ आती है थोड़ी, you realize यार ये मैंने क्या किया है. It was just waste of time. तो न्यूज़पेपर में 45 minutes to 1 hour से ज़्यादा कभी नहीं देना है. Make it a rule. Got it? Any doubts here? Anything else that you want to know about current affairs before I start today's class? No, there are online comments. Let me. Shivendu is asking, will the subjective test be evaluated? अरे yes, of course, test हो रहा है. Sunday को जो test हो रहा है, it will be evaluated within 3-4 days. It would be evaluated and would be given to you. Over the next 3 months, I am a bit busy, but after 3 months, once the mains batch is over, अभी mains वाले batches भी चल रहे हैं, I personally would evaluate your paper every Monday. I dedicate Monday for paper evaluation. जैसे अभी भी मैंने paper evaluation के लिए dedicate किया हुआ है, but I have given time to students for writing mains. So from 9 AM to 9 PM every Monday, I'll be evaluating paper. After September, I will myself start evaluating paper. Okay, I'll be available for more guidance, more support, more mentorship after September. Till September, let me just focus on a bit more on your seniors. आप next year mains लिख रहे होंगे तो आप पे ज़्यादा focus कर रहे होंगे उस पे. Okay, yes, it will be evaluated. ये बैच ज्वाइन कैसे कर सकते हैं? ऊपर देखो लिंक दिया हुआ है. Is it advisable for a fresher to enroll in this course? All our GS Foundation students are doing this course, no? So please do not worry. Any topic that we'll start it from zero. We'll start it from basics, and we'll take it to the most advanced level that is needed for UPSC Civil Services examination. We'll ensure that you understand the basic fundamentals also, but we'll also ensure that you understand the nitty-gritties which you may need to write in the mains examination. आज की क्लास देखिए, आपको समझ में आएगा. जितनी प्रिपरेशन की जरूरत है, एकदम बेसिक से एकदम एडवांस तक, everything would be taken care of. Shall I follow newspaper? वो तो मैंने बताया. Any one newspaper would do. I'm still covering basics of static subjects, so will I face problems with understanding what you're teaching? Definitely not. I do not depend on basics कि बच्चों को basics आता होगा. I will teach you. I will explain you everything from fundamentals only. Do not worry. This is my USP. People study with me because they feel कि उनको कुछ नहीं भी आ रहा होगा, वो बेसिक से सारी चीजें हम समझाएंगे, जितनी जरूरत होगी वो सब समझाएंगे. How to follow newspaper along with this? I think I have answered this. How to follow newspaper along with this? And when would the static portion be covered tentatively? Why would static portion would be covered? है ना? मैं एक बार स्टार्ट दिस वीडियो फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. कैन वी गेट दिस बुकलेट टुमारो? बेटा अभी डिस्क्रिप्शन में ना, टेक इट राइट नाउ. सर कैन ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स गिव टेस्ट ऑफलाइन? नहीं. यू जॉइंड ऑफलाइन बैच, देन यू गेट आई कार्ड फॉर offline batch and then you are able to give test offline. If you are an online student, you will have to give test online, right? तो अगर आपको ऑफलाइन टेस्ट देना है तो आप ऑफलाइन वाला बैच ज्वाइन कर लीजिए, उसमें ऑनलाइन एक्सेस भी मिलता है. Will there be full नहीं टारगेट मेंस फेज में, प्लीज नोट, इन टारगेट मेंस फेज वेयर वी आर कवरिंग GS2 and GS3 आफ्टर योर प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन, इन एवरी क्लास विल बी राइटिंग 4 आंसर्स. विल बी डिस्कसिंग इट, बट उसमें ऐसे टेस्ट सीरीज लेवल अप का इंक्लूडेड है क्या? नो, है ना, वो सब नहीं है. टारगेट मेंस फेज में करंट अफेयर्स में GS2 and GS3 की 40 क्लासेस में विल कवर द एंटायर सिलेबस एंड इन ईच क्लास विल राइट 4 आंसर्स ensuring that you have written 160 आंसर, but it does not include mains test series. Target mains wala phase. I'm talking about current affairs batch. I'm not talking about GS foundation. For GS foundation, everything is included. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. Every aspect of your preparation is part of your program. You will not have to join any batch, anything, anywhere, in any way other than your optional subjects. Okay. Yes. देखो टारगेट फिर से अपना कंफ्यूजन वाला चीज, टारगेट मेंस इज करंट अफेयर्स का प्रोग्राम, उसमें हम GS2 GS3 करते हैं. MMP में GS 1 2 3 4 पूरा करते हैं ना. GS 1 और 4 स्टैटिक होता है, तो वो करंट अफेयर्स प्रोग्राम की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं होती है, तो उसमें GS 1 4 नहीं होता. हाँ, यस यस, इट विल बी सेम. मेंस टेस्ट वीकली होंगे तो थोड़ा हार्ड होगा, तो हार्ड तो ये एग्जाम है ना. आप 1 महीने में लिखना, 4 साल लगेंगे प्रिपरेशन में. हार्ड तो ये एग्जाम है वीकली. वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, वीकली टेस्ट आपके ऐसे शुरू नहीं हो जाएंगे. एवरी टेस्ट विल हैव 20 क्वेश्चंस. विल स्टार्ट विद 5-6 क्वेश्चंस, 5-6 सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस आप लिखोगे पहले. मंथली टेस्ट बड़ा होगा, 3 मंथली टेस्ट और बड़ा होगा, लाइक दैट. डू नॉट थिंक कि एवरी वीक यू आर फोर्स्ड टू राइट 20 आंसर्स. इट वोंट बी लाइक दैट, है ना. Okay, let's start with today's class then. हाँ, so I was talking about कि these are the topics for today. Today we have less number of topics. You would see Speaker of लोक सभा recently news में थे. अब देखो न्यूज़ में ना हम बहुत सारी चीज़ें पढ़ते हैं कि इलेक्शंस हो रहे हैं, this he won the elections and all those things. But for mains examination, all that political aspect is not needed. फॉर मेंस एग्जामिनेशन स्पीकर से रिलेटेड जो चीज़ें नीडेड होंगी, या फॉर प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन UPSC सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन स्पीकर से रिलेटेड जो चीज़ें होंगी, एवरीथिंग वुड बी हेयर. यू विल नॉट नीड टू रेफर टू एनी अदर सोर्स रिलेटेड टू स्पीकर. तो स्पीकर या डिप्टी स्पीकर का अपॉइंटमेंट अभी होना है, वो हुआ नहीं है. दैट वॉज इन न्यूज़. टैकलिंग हाई ड्रॉप आउट रेट अमंग गर्ल्स. रिसेंटली एक इनिशिएटिव हैज बीन लॉन्च्ड बाय क्राई टू ensure that more girls continue to remain in school. They do not drop out, especially in class 11 and 12. तो उस न्यूज़ की वजह से I made a topic on social justice, women issues, कि what are the reasons because of which girls drop out in class 11 and 12 and what measures should be taken to ensure that वो नहीं हो. Right. Similarly, when we go to mains examination, अभी recently आपने ये सारी चीज़ें न्यूज़ में देखी होंगी, जैसे Hooch tragedy. तमिलनाडु में a lot of people, 60+ people died because of Hooch tragedy. Or bird flu. You must have recently seen a lot of news related to bird flu, right? तो इन सारी चीज़ों को हमें पढ़ना है. या फिर if you'll go to prelims facts, we have a lot of prelims facts also. In fact, let us start studying. Let us start with the first class. चलिए इससे ही शुरू कर लेते हैं. Let's start with Hooch tragedy. आज सीक्वेंस में ना जाके, because we are just starting the class, let us start with GS3 and let us understand हम Hooch tragedy कैसे कवर करेंगे. Over the last 15 days, you must have had 15-20 articles on Hooch tragedy. But आपकी पढ़ाई के लिए कितना relevant है this 1.5 page that you have in notes. First thing that you should know is what is Hooch. Hooch, when you hear the term Hooch, what do you understand by it? Hooch, illegal liquor is Hooch, fine, or illegal spurious liquor is Hooch. But Hooch is a Hindi word or English word? हाँ, तमिल वर्ड होगा. अरे बिहार में भी होती है Hooch ट्रेजेडी, गुजरात में भी होती है. Hooch कहाँ से आ रहा है? हाँ, हिंदी वर्ड होगा, ऐसे हूच पूछ लग रहा है तो आप हिंदी बना दिए। एक्चुअली दिस वर्ड कम्स फ्रॉम अ कम्युनिटी विच लिव्ड इन अलास्का or which lived in USK, one of the states, and they used to make very strong drink which had very high alcohol content. Traditional method of making drink of very high alcohol content. तो अब जो देशी शराब बनती है, they follow similar strategies. So anywhere when this kind of liquor is being made, it is called. It's neither English nor Hindi. It comes from the name of that tribe. उन्होंने तो तमिल बता दिया था. Okay, so now we understand what is hooch, spurious liquor which has been prepared in such a manner that alcohol content in it has not been regulated. Fine. Hooch tragedy क्या होगा? When because of this spurious liquor people die or face disabilities, that will be called hooch tragedy. ये सबको समझ में आया? What is hooch? What is hooch tragedy? Now देखो, now think of when this thing comes in mains examination. एक तो prelims में आ सकता है, hooch refers to which of the following, बहुत basic question, but mains examination में if a question comes, let's look at this question. What is hooch tragedy? Discuss the key factors responsible for persistence of illicit liquor production and consumption in India. 10 marks, 150 bucks. You may get a question, will always remain very exam centric. हम ना कभी भी कोई भी वैसा टॉपिक नहीं पढ़ेंगे which cannot come in the examination. We'll make it a rule. We'll not unnecessarily discuss useless topics. आप कई बार YouTube पे देखते हो, बहुत सारे YouTube channels हैं who claim to be preparing students for civil services examination and they make videos on क्या पुलिस को भूत दिखते हैं. They do these kind of stupid things. We are never gonna do that. Please understand, आपके पास बहुत कम टाइम है प्रिपेयर करने के लिए, और उस टाइम में भी हम फालतू की चीजें डिस्कस कर रहे होंगे तो क्या होगा? यू विल नेवर बी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड. अभी भी आपको रोज शायद 8-10 घंटे पढ़ना है इन ऑर्डर टू एंश्योर दैट योर सिलेबस इज प्रॉपरली कंप्लीटेड ओवर द नेक्स्ट 15 मंथ्स, और उसमें भी फालतू चीजें बिल्कुल नहीं डिस्कस कर. राइट, तो कम बैक टू, अगर हमारे पास हूच ट्रेजेडी पे क्वेश्चन आएगा तो हाउ विल वी राइट एन आंसर? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल विल टॉक अबाउट इंट्रोडक्शन, है ना, कि अब हूच ट्रेजेडी का मतलब तो हमने समझ लिया, हूच का मतलब समझ लिया, हूच ट्रेजेडी का मतलब समझ लिया. इफ अ क्वेश्चन ऑन हूच ट्रेजेडी कम्स कि व्हाट इज हूच ट्रेजेडी, या फिर समथिंग एल्स कि व्हाट आर द रीजंस फॉर persistent cases of hooch tragedies in the country, you'll have to introduce your answer. How do we introduce? जब हमें कोई भी आंसर लिखना होता है हम इंट्रोडक्शन कैसे देते हैं? तो generally we have 3 ways by which you can introduce your answer. You can introduce by definition. जैसे एक क्वेश्चन आया, what are the reasons for persistent cases of hooch tragedy in the country? So you can start with hooch tragedy refers to deaths and disabilities caused by spurious liquor. This is the definition mechanism. अब देखेंगे इंट्रोडक्शन में I have given you 2 mechanisms here. One is the definition way of introducing your answer. Hooch tragedy refers to the death and disabilities caused by consumption of poisonous spurious liquor. Other is you give context. Context में you can give background or you can give current context. So you could have started with question आया, what are the key reasons for persistent cases of hooch tragedies in India? One way is you define it, define hooch tragedy and introduce your answer. Other way of introducing your answer is by giving the current context, saying recently Tamil Nadu saw more than 60 deaths because of hooch tragedy. Even last year there were 20 cases. It indicates that India में there is a persistent problem of hooch tragedy. The key reasons are following. Did we introduce it with the context? किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है? तो यू कैन डिफाइन योर टॉपिक टू इंट्रोड्यूस योर आंसर. यू कैन गिव कॉन्टेक्स्ट और यू कैन गिव सम डेटा. दिस इज द थर्ड वे इन विच यू इंट्रोड्यूस योर आंसर. तो यहाँ पे मैंने कोई डेटा नहीं दिया है. इफ गवर्नमेंट, इफ आई टुमारो आई फाइंड सम डेटा कि इन लास्ट 10 years so many people have died because of hooch, I'll अपने इस नोट्स में आके I'll add it here and that will become our mechanism for introducing a question through data. राइट, और ज्यादा इधर उधर की चीजें नहीं याद रखनी है, नहीं समझनी है. एग्जामिनेशन में व्हाट कैन यू राइट? यू विल हैव अ 15-20 वर्ड इंट्रोडक्शन टू राइट. व्हाई रीड अननेसेसरी थिंग्स अबाउट इट? रिमेन वेरी एग्जाम सेंट्रिक. आप देखोगे प्रिपरेशन बहुत सिंप्लीफाइड रहेगी. फालतू चीजें पढ़ते रहोगे, प्रिपरेशन हेवियर रहेगी. बिकॉज जब आप फालतू चीजें पढ़ोगे तो फालतू चीजें याद भी रखनी पड़ेगी बहुत, तो उसमें इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें मिस हो जाएंगी, राइट? तो if on Sunday you get a question on Hooch tragedy, will we all be able to introduce that question properly? Okay, first is we understand what Hooch tragedy is. Now why does spurious liquor become poisonous? Point is this, now ऐसा तो है नहीं people who are making this liquor they are terrorists and they are adding poison in that, ऐसा तो है नहीं. Sometimes and we know this desi sharab and all those stuff which is illegally made, which is made in unorganized sector, is happening in all the states in the country, but every year from 2-3 different states we will see these cases of people dying. So what happens because of which people end up dying or people end up getting blind or face other kind of disabilities? ऐसा क्या होता है उसमें? So it's primarily because of methanol, excess methanol. Now let me briefly help you understand this. देखो, alcohol is ethanol, right? Alcohol is ethanol. तो जो आपके ड्रिंक में एथेनॉल है, ethanol your body can digest and everything. Methanol is a similar product. It's used in industries as solvent and for other purposes. If you drink it, you will get the similar taste and similar feeling. But इसका जब metabolization होगा, when it will get metabolized in your body, it will produce what is known as formic, and this is poisonous. Beyond a particular amount, this formic acid is poisonous for your body, and this is the reason for Hooch tragedy. Most of the time, it is this formic acid which creates problem. Did we all understand this? So why do these spurious liquor become problematic? Because of presence of methanol. But then again think of what's your name? Saurav. Let's say Saurav is the local gangster and Saurav का अपना ये अल्कोहल बनाने का बिजनेस है. सौरभ कितना कमा लेते हो? हर स्टेट में है सौरभ का बिजनेस, हर स्टेट. अब सौरभ वुड नॉट वांट कि उसमें मिथेनॉल हो, उसका बिजनेस इज गोइंग टू गेट अफेक्टेड, राइट? सौरभ वुड नॉट वांट कि पीपल डाई एल्स पुलिस इज गोइंग टू अरेस्ट सौरभ. देन व्हाई डज मिथेनॉल कम इन हियर? मिथेनॉल Hooch में क्यों आ जाता है? There are two reasons. One, methanol in a smaller quantity is not that problematic. is cheaply, is easily available. तो smaller quantity में डाल देता है, अल्कोहल से सस्ता मिल जाएगा. Ethanol is very well regulated, so it's not that easily available. But pure methanol can be easily available. But nowadays people don't do this. This was one of the reasons. This used to be one of the reasons. Other reason why methanol is there, sometimes methanol in higher quantities gets into those alcohol, is the preparation. जब आप alcohol को prepare करते हो, anyone has ever made alcohol? Has anyone ever made alcohol? आपको ठंड लग रही है? Not feeling well? Okay. Has anyone ever made alcohol? नहीं. Alcohol fermentation से बनता है. कोई भी sugary substance, you add yeast in it. Yeast will process the sugary substance and will convert it into alcohol. ये होता है. In the process, some methanol is also, and that's why you have to do distillation. You have to separate alcohol. How do you do distillation? How do you separate alcohol? By heating it. Alcohol evaporates before. Alcohol boils before water. Alcohol can be separated. But उससे भी पहले boil हो जाता है methanol. So in industries, what they do is, as temperature keeps on going up, as temperature goes in 60s, the vapor that comes out is of methanol. They separate it. Temperature in 70s, 70 degrees Celsius, then would come out ethanol. They'll separate it. But now think of Saurav's business. It's not organized sector. He doesn't have all the advanced tools. Sometimes what happens is methanol, which should have been separated, gets mixed with the liquor, causing excess of methanol, or excess of methanol when it goes in your body. In a small quantity, it will not create a lot of problem, but in larger quantities, it will form formic acid, which is disastrous. Science behind It is understood, I hope. अब हम बाकी aspects देखेंगे, but science behind Hooch tragedy is understood. Why does spurious liquor become poisonous? Excess methanol, or excess methanol can be because of intentional addition, because it's easily available, or because of improper preparation. Improper preparation may also lead to methanol getting into your alcohol, or methanol getting into your liquor, creating problems. Do we get this? Do we all understand this? Okay. Then why is methanol used? Methanol is used because of its easier availability and because its taste and appearance is similar. So alcohol is easily available, sometimes it may be used. Why do people go for this kind of? When we see these kind of cases in news, ये चीजें आती रहती हैं, still people end up buying this spurious liquor. Why do people participate in this? So one is socio-economic factors. आपको आंसर, जब आप आंसर्स भी लिखोगे, you'll have different heads. One major head is socio-economic. Socio-economic में poverty and unemployment. People do not have money, so the cheaply available one is the one that they'll buy. Right? This is the primary reason. Then high taxes and regulations on alcohol. Organized sector में Saurav could have started an organized business of making alcohol also, but Saurav continued with the unorganized one because of very high taxes and a lot of regulations required. Lack of awareness and education among people ki how problematic, how dangerous that can be. Easier availability in lots of places. जैसे आप बिहार में जाओ, वहाँ alcohol banned है publicly, पर गाँव में किसी corner में this spurious liquor is being made, so they know where to get it, where to find it. In remote areas, they know where to get it, where to find it, because it is being manufactured somewhere locally. Thus, it is easily available also. Then, stronger impact, because it's, remember the beginning of Hooch, the term Hooch. It came from a tribe in USA which used to make very strong drink. तो जिन लोगों को ना ये Hooch drink करने का आदत है, people who are used to drinking this unorganized sector alcohol, they don't like the organized sector का brand because it doesn't give them the kick that is needed. उन्हें टल्ली होने के लिए यही लेना पड़ता है. हंस रहे हो आप लोग? नहीं हंसो हंसो, but understand कि some people who are used to that, they'll be like, अरे ये मजा नहीं आ रहा इसमें. Let's go to Saurav. Saurav has the brand which is needed. That is another reason. Okay, but then there are legal administrative issues also. A poor law and order situation is one of the primary reasons. It's not possible कि SHO or the beat officer would not know that in an area this kind of alcohol is being made and being sold. So police, criminal nexus, Saurav पुलिस को भी पैसे खिला देता है, कोई politician इसे support कर रहा होगा, that becomes a factor. Then sometimes lack of resources with police, like ensuring that in every village कहाँ पे production हो रहा है उसे रोकना और ये सब करना, sometimes become difficult for them. Sometimes they do not have enough resources, enough officers to take action against them. वहाँ ज़्यादा गुंडे खड़े हैं. These are some other factors. So there are socio-economic factors, but there are legal administrative factors also, because of which the persistent cases of spurious liquor continue. Okay, now ये treatment, again I'm coming to a bit of science behind it. When someone gets formic acid in the body, how does that get tackled? उसका treatment कैसे होता है? So one treatment mechanism is fomepizole. This is a medicine that is given to that person, but ये हर जगह available होता नहीं है and it's expensive. So other treatment mechanism is आपकी body में alcohol डाला जाएगा. To counter methanol in your body, alcohol would be put. Alcohol would ensure that the methanol is not getting metabolized in your body and it is excreted, it is removed from the body. That is another way in which it gets treated. Okay, anyways, we are done with the basics, the reasons behind it. What should be the way forward then? How do we deal with this? Question यही होता है examination में. Why do we see persistent cases of Hooch tragedies and what should be done to deal with that? What should be done to deal with those Hooch tragedies, right? So what is way forward for us? First thing that we are saying is strong action against bootlegger. Now ये तो कोई भी बोल देगा, है ना? Any random person would say. तो when you're an UPSC aspirant, how will you write this? You will say, you will talk about recommendations of some committee. तो एक ना 2009 में in Ahmedabad a big Hooch tragedy case happened where more than 100 people were killed. So a committee was formed, and this committee said, Mehta Commission. So a Mehta Commission was formed, and this commission found that one of the reasons that this Hooch tragedy kind of incident keeps on occurring is that when people are arrested, when bootleggers are arrested, actions is very rarely taken against them. Their conviction rate is very low because they are hand in glove with police, they are hand in glove with politicians. So उनके against action होता ही नहीं है, and that is one of the primary reasons why this thing continues. So Mehta Commission had recommended that we have to increase conviction rates drastically in case of illegal selling of alcohol. Only then will we be able to solve the problem. So way forward में first thing most important is कि यार जो legal administrative factor है, deal with that, ensure that enough resources are available with police, ensure that corruption नहीं हो रहा, ensure that when cases come, conviction rate remains very high. They should not remain very low. Second, make authorities accountable. जब किसी area में this kind of alcohol is being sold, this kind of illegal activity is happening, this is not a activity जहाँ पे आप ना बस drugs बेच रहे हो. Proper manufacturing takes place and then things get sold out. In that scenario, it's not difficult for police to identify that something like this is happening. So when cases like Hooch tragedies occur, even the local beat officer, local SHO, they should also be held accountable. Only then the chances of this kind of illegal sale would reduce. Then more regulation of methanol. Why more regulation of methanol? देखो, ethanol is not that easily available because ethanol is regulated. आप इंडस्ट्री, जैसे इंडस्ट्री के लिए जो इथेनॉल आ रहा है, दैट्स नॉट प्योर इथेनॉल. जो प्योर इथेनॉल आ भी रहा है, उसका प्रॉपर ट्रैकिंग होता है. बट बिकॉज मेथनॉल इज नॉट दैट, मेथनॉल इज नॉट यूज्ड बाय पीपल फॉर दिस ड्रिंकिंग पर्पस, मेथनॉल इज नॉट रेगुलेटेड, एंड दैट्स व्हाई मेथनॉल इज इजीली अवेलेबल. So we have to increase regulation of methanol also. Then we'll also have to focus upon changing our policy on drinking alcohol. There are some states who have completely banned it. There are some states who allow it because it's an important source of revenue. Now, what should be the approach? The approach should be such that we are taking health science into mind. Health wise, how problematic it is. We are taking revenue in mind, and we are keeping right to choose of people. आप जब बैन कर देते हो, you are also affecting right to life or right to, like, I want to decide whether I want to drink alcohol or not. Unless I'm creating nuisance for anyone, you are impacting my fundamental right. So we need to have a balanced approach so that legal alcohol in limited quantity is available, and people do not have to start getting addicted to these kind of alcohol, this kind of spurious liquor. Okay, and finally we'll have to keep in mind the local people, awareness among them ki why this can be problematic, why this can be disastrous, and not all of them may get aware, but even if some of them get aware, there should be an anonymous reporting mechanism. An app can be there and a portal could be there where anonymously people should be able to complain कि यहाँ पे alcohol बिक रहा है, इस तरह का बिक रहा है. Once this kind of reporting happens, accountability of local police would also have to increase drastically. So we'll have to work on all these fronts to ensure that our fight against persistent Hooch tragedies is successful. Administrative level पे भी accountability भी improve करना पड़ेगा, right? We'll also have to ensure that people are made to become stakeholders. They are made aware that they should not be drinking these kind of things. This can be problematic, but more importantly, they should be able to report it anonymously so that they are not getting threatened. Their life is not getting threatened by bootleggers. So the war against illicit liquor needs to be fought on multiple fronts and by all stakeholders, government, legal administrative level पे, NGOs, awareness generation level पे, and community people by reporting it. तो देखो, we will read tens of different things about Hooch tragedy, but आपके एग्जाम के लिए इसके बियॉन्ड कुछ जरूरी नहीं है. We know the science behind it, we have some data related to it, we know the reasons behind it, we know how should it be dealt with, and एक conclusion जो आप over the years, over the next 1 year when you will keep reading about Hooch tragedy, ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी तमिलनाडु में हो गया, अब पूरे देश में कहीं नहीं होगा, फिर से होगा. You find something interesting way of concluding it, आप वो अपने notes में add करिए, कुछ वैसा करिए, but do not unnecessarily keep adding point. If you have started writing answers, or even if you haven't, Sunday को आप जब आंसर लिखोगे, आप देखोगे even this content you will not be able to write in your answer. आपके पास इतना कम टाइम रहता है. 150 words, 250 words का आंसर लिखने के लिए this is more than what is needed. You will not be able to write anything beyond this. Even ये भी पूरा नहीं लिख सकते 150 words से 250 words. So do not run behind hundreds of other points. Focus on इसको पढ़ के, इसको summarize करके writing a good answer on this topic. Okay, let's go to another topic, H5N1. H5N1 is a virus, bird flu virus. Okay, हम बर्ड फ्लू वायरस पे जाने से पहले थोड़ा सा देखो, यहाँ न्यूज में है कि H5N1 bird flu has become widespread in wild birds worldwide and is causing outbreaks in poultry sector all across USA, and for the first time 3 cases of human infection in dairy farm workers has been seen. तो ये न्यूज में था कि humans have also been infected and humans में the fatality rate is very high. It's 50-60%. कोविड में 100 लोग इन्फेक्ट होते थे, perhaps 1 was dying. If humans are getting infected by bird flu, around 50-60% of them are dying. Okay, this was the news, and there are lots of other things, but हमें किस तरह से पढ़ना है? We do not have to know everything about bird flu. कुछ बेसिक चीजें हमें पता होनी चाहिए for preliminary examination, and then for mains examination we should understand certain basic aspects. Okay, first of all, what is H5N1 or what is bird flu? It's a influenza A virus. Influenza viruses can be of 4 types, A, B, C, D. इसमें influenza A is the one which is capable of having a pandemic level diseases. Swine flu, bird flu, ये सारी चीजें influenza A viruses. Now the influenza A viruses have on their surface 2 kinds of protein. H protein and N protein. इन्फ्लुएंजा ए जो वायरस होता है उसके सरफेस पे हेमाग्लूटिनिन एंड न्यूरामिनिडेज 2 प्रोटीन होते हैं, एंड दीज प्रोटीन्स आर ऑफ वेरियस टाइप्स, जैसे H1, H2, H3, H4, ऐसे N1, N2, N3, N4. तो वॉट एवर इज द टाइप ऑफ प्रोटीन, जैसे यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड अबाउट H1N1, यहाँ पे वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट H5N1. तो प्रोटीन H is of type H5 and protein N is of type N1. That is H5N1 virus. So influenza, फिर से I'll repeat this again. Influenza A virus has 2 types of protein, H protein and N protein on its surface. H protein can be of various types, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. N protein can be of various types, N1, N2, N3, N4, N5 and so on. अब कौन सा H protein, which H protein and which N protein you have, based on that the virus is named. This virus, which is a bird flu virus, has been named H5N1 because it has H protein of which type, H5 type, and N protein of which type, N1 type. तो जब आप टर्म H5N1 सुनना तो ऐसे सोचना इन्फ्लुएंजा ए वायरस के सरफेस पे H5 टाइप का प्रोटीन है और N1 टाइप का. Right now bird flu can be of other types also, but right now the pandemic level disease which has been caused throughout the world, it has been caused by H5N1. Okay, now so avian influenza is caused by a type of influenza A virus. क्या ये सेंटेंस लिखने में इंट्रोडक्शन में अपने आंसर के किसी को भी चैलेंज है? नहीं, सिंपल सा है कि एवियन इन्फ्लुएंजा इज अ टाइप ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंजा ए वायरस among various viruses. There can be various types of viruses, H1N1, H1N2 and so on, है ना. H5 and H7 subtypes are highly pathogenic avian influenza. It means जो H5 और H7 subtype वाले हैं, H5N1 is H5 वाला, ऐसे H7 के there are various variants, they are highly pathogenic. Highly pathogenic means if they infect birds, a lot of birds die. If it infects humans, humans may be, it can have very high fatality rate. So H5 type and H7 types are of HPAI category, highly pathogenic avian influenza category. और अभी हम जिसकी बात कर रहे हैं that is H5N1, so it is also one of the HPAI. Are we comfortable here? Okay. हाँ, तो यहाँ पे we are saying H5N1 is the most common virus causing bird flu, and in its recent resurgence has presented significant challenges to humankind. It has created a lot of problems for us. Basic, क्या will we all be able to introduce? अगर H5 बर्ड फ्लू पे हमें क्वेश्चन लिखने को आता है, क्या हम एक अच्छा इंट्रोडक्शन लिख सकते हैं? सबसे पहले तो एक सिंपल लाइन लिखना कि H5N1 और H5N1 is one of the influenza A virus. फाइन, ये लिख सकते हैं. ये if a question is of 10 marks, one line introduction is fine. 10 marks when you have only 150 words, 10-15 words लिख दिए for introduction में, that is fine. If you need to write more, you say H5N1 is the most common bird flu and it is one of the HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza. ये भी हमने देखा, H5N1 is the most common cause of bird flu and it is highly pathogenic also. काफी है, even it's a 250 word question. You do not want to write more than 30-40 words in introduction. That's good enough. अगर question is what problems is it creating for us? You write a connecting line. In recent years, it has emerged as it has created a lot of challenges for humankind. What are those challenges? Let us look at it. First is the public health risk. देखो, एक तो it is creating, it is leading to deaths of lots of birds. That is fine, but it's also creating health problems for us. Yes. क्या करें इसी का? ये मेरा वाला है, ये कम नहीं होगा because I'm hot. आप लोग कहीं और बैठ जाओ, बाकी बंद करा लो, ये बंद नहीं होगा, ये मेरा वाला है ना? कहीं बैठ जाओ, ये बंद कर दे. कोई है? राजेश, दिनेश, आ जाओ यार, ये एसी मेरा वाला छोड़ के सब बंद कर दो. वो तो एकदम पीछे जा रहा है, इतनी ठंड लग गई है ऐसे. आपको भी ठंड लग रही है? अब लगेगी, वो चला गया ना, आपको बचा रहा था अभी तक. Okay, let's come back to this. So, challenges that bird flu has caused for us. One is public health challenge. हमारे लाइफ को कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है? तो यू वुड सी दैट एज पर WHO बिटवीन 2003 एंड 2024 900 ह्यूमंस हैव बीन इन्फेक्टेड एंड मोर देन हाफ ऑफ देम वर फेटल. तो ह्यूमंस इन्फेक्ट हुए हैं, 900 से ज़्यादा ह्यूमंस मरे हैं. इट ऑल्सो मीन्स दैट ट्रांसमिशन टू ह्यूमंस इज नॉट दैट ईजी. बर्ड्स, पता है, बिलियंस ऑफ बर्ड्स हैव बीन किल्ड, बट स्टिल ओनली 900 इंडिविजुअल्स इन 2 decades. यू विल सी, तो ये तो इतना रिस्की नहीं है. But we'll have to understand that it's a virus, and virus में एक mutation हुआ and it may become very easily transferable to human. There is a grave risk of sustained transmission if the virus collects a few mutation while spreading among. तो एक तो this is the risk. It may create huge health issue for us, life issues for us, because its fatality rate is very high. The thing is, it's not transmissible. इतना easily transmit नहीं हो रहा है humans. Birds में हो जा रहा है, not in humans. तो as such, it has not created a lot of problem. But what if it becomes as transmissible as COVID? Half of the world's population gone. अब आपने मूवी देखी एवेंजर्स, है ना? उसमें वो भाई कितनी मेहनत करता है, ये स्टोन ढूंढ रहा है, वो स्टोन ढूंढ रहा है. What should have he done? What उसने इस वायरस को मॉडिफाई करना था. ये इजियर नहीं होता? आके इससे लड़ रहा है, उससे लड़ रहा है, इस वायरस को मॉडिफाई करता, हाफ ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन ऐसे ही डाई. इस वायरस की ट्रांसमिसिबिलिटी कैसे कर दो? कोविड जितनी देखो कोविड हम सबको अफेक्ट करा है, some of are immune fine, but it has reached all of us. If this virus reaches all of us, half of us would die because its fatality rate is very high. Right? समझ में आ रही है? ऐसा करना नहीं है। मैं बता रहा हूं कि विलेन भी ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाते हैं, थोड़ा दिमाग लगाया तो इतना लड़ना झगड़ना नहीं पड़े ना। इतनी एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ आ रहा था कि एक यूनिवर्स से दूसरे यूनिवर्स में ऐसे आ जाते थे वो लोग, तो जीन मॉडिफिकेशन थोड़ा कर दो, इट वुड हैव बीन ईजियर, है ना। इसीलिए साइंस वाले विलेन ज्यादा अच्छे होते हैं, फैंटेसी वाले थोड़े गड़बड़ हो जाते हैं। एनीवेज, तो व्हाई बर्ड फ्लू इज अ हेल्थ हजार्ड फॉर अस? डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड? इट कैन क्रिएट अ पब्लिक हेल्थ इशू। डू वी अंडरस्टैंड दिस? सेकंड, it will have negative economic impact. Health impact, it is having a lot of negative economic impact. Billions of birds all over the world in recent years have been culled, have been killed. Poultry sector is facing a lot of trouble. Then when bird flu spreads, demand of eggs, demand of chicken also reduces. That sector suffers. When bird flu spreads, not only this happens, tourism also gets affected. All this create economic challenges, इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम्स। ओके, बायोडाइवर्सिटी लॉस। देखो बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक तो ये चिकन को इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है, बट दिस टाइम बर्ड फ्लू हैज रीच्ड प्लेसेस वेयर इट हैड नेवर रीच्ड। फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन अंटार्कटिका वी हैव सीन केसेस ऑफ बर्ड फ्लू। इन अंटार्कटिका वी हैव सीन केसेस ऑफ बर्ड फ्लू। पेंगुइन्स जानते हैं आप पेंगुइन्स क्या होते हैं? डू यू नो पेंगुइन्स आर बर्ड्स। उनके जो पंख थे ना वो इवॉल्व होके वो फ्लैप में बदल गए हैं, उनके पैर थोड़े बड़े हो गए, बट दे आर बर्ड्स। दे हैव लॉस्ट देयर एबिलिटी टू फ्लाई बिकॉज दे वर एबल टू गेट फूड ऑन ग्राउंड इजीली ओवर द years, but they are birds. Penguins have been infected by it. A lot of penguins have died. Mammals have been infected by it. US में cattle have been infected and cattle are dying because of it. तो cattle मर रहे थे तो हमने बोला इकोनॉमिक चैलेंज आया, but when penguins and other seagulls, seabirds, they are getting infected, they are dying, biodiversity loss हो रहा है, but a lot of them are already threatened by extinction. We'll talk about threatened by extinction, these terms आज when we come to prelims facts, and this will create problems. So अब देखो, when we are thinking of writing answers on the topic of bird flu, we have an introduction, we have what are the key challenges it is creating. We said health challenge easy है, अभी you can write data, you can give data also कि as per WHO in last 20 years there have been 900 infection and more than 50% of those individuals have died, but with a small mutation they may become more easily transmissible and create bigger problems. Economic impact easily answerable. Environmental impact, biodiversity loss is part of your environmental impact, is third point that you'll write. Then it also has potential to spread uncontrollably because birds are getting infected. We get hundreds of birds who migrate to India every year from different parts of the world. आप COVID was being spread through humans, आपने flight आना जाना बंद कर दिया, right? Because COVID was being spread through humans. How will you prevent Amur falcon from flying from Russia to India? You will not be able to do that, right? कुक्कू बर्ड आता है अफ्रीका से मॉनसून रेन्स, मॉनसून विंड के साथ, you cannot stop that. So that's why it has potential to spread uncontrollably. It will not be possible to stop it. And finally, it will also lead to increased health expenditure because everyone will have to start focusing on developing its vaccination, and in that period what happens is, that's a good thing कि vaccination develop हो रहा है, but do you know when we had to run behind developing COVID-19 vaccination, a lot of other research was sidelined, a lot of other vaccinations were sidelined. जैसे measles एक disease है, उसका vaccination available है, इंडिया में measles cases were going down in 2020-21, its vaccination could not happen because there was focus on COVID. In 2022 we saw a spike in measles. So those expenses, health expenditure which would have gone into other areas, get diverted here, creating problems here. So what are the key challenges it is creating for us? Are we clear about it? क्या 4-5 points comfortably लिख पाएंगे? देखो, so far you would have understood now कि my focus of teaching any topic is in a form which helps you write either a mains answer or understand a concept which will help you write attempt a preliminary examination. I'm not going to give you any unnecessary kachra, unnecessary detail. We'll try to remain as exam centric as possible. कि भाई एग्जाम में 6 पॉइंट्स लिखने हैं उसकी बात करते हैं, nothing beyond that. I will not go into unnecessary stories. What I want is कि in 2025 in September when you will be writing mains, एक question you should feel like I can easily write genuine points. And आज से September तक अगर हर weekend आप आंसर भी लिखते रहोगे, no matter how bad your answers are right now, if you will keep improving even by 1 or 2% every week, you would have improved drastically by 2020. So start writing and start studying in an exam centric manner. Whenever you are reading something, जब आप इस नोट्स को रीड करो, चैलेंजेस आए, आप मन में सोचो हेल्थ चैलेंजेस, इकोनॉमिक चैलेंजेस, एनवायरमेंटल चैलेंजेस, एक्सपेंडिचर चैलेंजेस, उनको सोचो. एंड विल यू बी एबल टू एक्सपैंड दैट, विल यू बी एबल टू इलैबोरेट इट. 5 कीवर्ड्स आपने अंडरलाइन किए, डू नॉट अंडरलाइन एवरीथिंग, just 5 keywords. You will see I have kept all these things in bold also. Just look at these bold words. Will you be able to expand it in your own language? Will you be able to write it? Revision will become very easy. You will just have to look at the bold points. वो भी मैंने करके दिया है ना. Sometimes revision becomes difficult because you end up reading everything. You do not have to read everything. एक बार पहली reading should be about everything. After that, it should be only the keywords. Okay. तो हाँ, लेवल ऑफ रिस्क टू ह्यूमंस हमने समझ लिया है. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट व्हाट शुड बी डन, व्हाट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड. अगेन, अब बर्ड फ्लू फैल रहा है, इट इज क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम्स ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. इट हैज स्टार्टेड क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम्स इन इंडिया ऑल्सो. व्हाट शुड बी आवर प्लान, व्हाट शुड बी द वे फॉरवर्ड? लेट मी जस्ट टेक दिस ऑनलाइन डाउट्स एक बार, एक सेकेंड. तुम ना मुझे एसी बंद करवाने वाला, वही यहाँ खड़ा हो जाता हूँ मैं रिमोट लेके. एक ही तो चल रहा है यार, ये तो चलने दो. तो तुम कहीं और बैठ जाओ, सब कहीं और बैठ जाए. इतनी बड़ी क्लासरूम. With regard to whose strategy shall we add a dimension of employment to local people, tribes which make it? नहीं, मतलब अगर आपको सपोर्ट करना है हुच स्ट्रेटजी को तो बताओ, पर हमें क्वेश्चन में तो कहीं पे सपोर्ट करने का नहीं पूछा ना, है ना. और वो हमने बता ही दिया, पॉवर्टी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की. वहां पे आप बता दो कि पॉवर्टी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की वजह से सम पीपल आल्सो गेट इन्वॉल्वड इन दिस. रीजंस में लिखना चाहते हो तो लिख दो, बट वो थोड़ा ना पॉजिटिव साइड में चला जाएगा. अवॉइड इट. यू सपोर्टिंग कुछ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और वो सारी चीजें, है ना, वो थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ जाएगा. ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट व्हाट शुड बी द वे फॉरवर्ड हियर. अब बर्ड फ्लू देखो, अब थिंक ऑफ बर्ड फ्लू. बर्ड फ्लू के बारे में जब आप सोच रहे हो, पहले यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ इंट्रोडक्शन. एग्जाम सेंट्रिक रहना है. इफ अ बर्ड फ्लू क्वेश्चन कम्स, व्हाट डू वी डू? इफ अ बर्ड फ्लू क्वेश्चन कम, आई से कि बर्ड फ्लू इज वन ऑफ द इन्फ्लुएंजा ए वायरस, है ना. रिसेंटली द बर्ड फ्लू दैट इज बीइंग स्प्रेड इज बिकॉज ऑफ H5N1, which is the most common type of bird flu, and it's also highly pathogenic. राइट, ये लिख सकते हैं. इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया. प्रॉब्लम्स दैट इट इज क्रिएटिंग, क्या 5 डायमेंशंस लिख सकते हो? यस, यू आर ऑलरेडी गेटिंग रेडी फॉर राइटिंग मेंस आंसर. प्लीज नोट दिस. व्हाट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड? हाउ डू वी डील विद इट? लेट्स लुक एट इट. सर, एनीथिंग बीइंग डन टू सेव बर्ड्स और इट्स जस्ट ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक? ये बच्ची आ गई है एकदम. नहीं बेटा, चिकन्स को कल ही किया जा रहा है और वैक्सीनेशंस बनाए जा रहे हैं, बट वैक्सीनेशंस आर बीइंग मेड फॉर कैटल्स. चिकन के लिए वैक्सीनेशन एज सच आर नॉट बीइंग डेवलप्ड अभी के, और डेवलप हो रहा है तो फिर भी आर नॉट बीइंग यूज्ड और इज नॉट द फोकस. ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस. व्हाट डू वी नीड टू डू? व्हाट डू वी नीड टू डू टू deal with this problem? First, if we talk from India's perspective, first thing is we will have to focus on surveillance. इंडिया में कई जगह बर्ड फ्लू केसेस हो जाते हैं. Those people do not understand that this is bird flu and it spreads to much bigger area, creating bigger problem, and government gets active much later, where it orders culling of all the birds and everything. The first thing that we need to do is more investment in surveillance and early detection, including rapid diagnostic tool, so that the outbreak takes place. The moment outbreak takes place, we are able to curtail it. We are able to reduce it rather than allowing it to become much bigger. Second, we have to go for preventive measures so that it doesn't spread much. So there's a people who are working around these birds or cattle who are vulnerable to it, they should start wearing protective gears even when in their birds the flu hasn't occurred. US में भी bird flu cases आ रहे हैं, यहाँ पे people should start wearing protective gears while they are handling these birds or these animals. Then recently Tamiflu is a medicine which is given for swine flu and all. उसके treatment के time ये medicines दिए जाते हैं. So it is being used as a preventive measure against bird flu in people. That is one thing that could be considered. And then people like us who are consumers, we should ensure that we are consuming like pasteurized milk which has been properly processed, and when we are eating food, eggs, chicken or any other type of animal product, it should be properly cooked. वो होता है ना half fry खा रहे हैं, those kind of things should be avoided. Properly cooked so that chances of any bird flu spreading in this way should. So these are preventive measures that we have to keep in mind. Then to fight bird flu in long run, the concept of One Health is crucial. What is the idea of One Health? The idea of One Health is this: the health of human being is dependent on health of animals and health of environment. They are three interconnected. If you will not focus on health of environment, our health will not be taken care of. If we will not focus on health of animals, our health will not be taken care of. So we have to focus on all three dimensions, like human health, animal health and environmental health is one, and we'll have to focus on three of them in order to make our life better. So One Health is a separate topic जो मैं अभी आपको पढ़ाऊंगा और मैं अभी आपको करूंगा, cover करेंगे. Then some other things that we need to focus on when we have to in long run deal with the problems like bird flu is that we need to have some studies, and this will not happen in next 1 year or 2 years. Over the next 2-3 decades we need to develop mechanism so that birds which are coming to India from different parts of the world, उनका survey और उनका study हो रहा है. At least we should know कि which are all the places from which different birds are coming, so that when Russia में bird flu फैलने लगेगा, we'll start focusing on birds who are migrating from Russia to India, and we'll be able to take precautionary measure, develop mechanisms to deal with the extent of problem. But right now there is no monitoring of that. This is one thing that we have to do. And finally international cooperation. देखो कोविड के केस में because of the problems being faced by everyone, due to international cooperation we were easily within 1.5 years we were all able to get vaccination, है ना. इंडिया में मार्च 2020 में लॉकडाउन लगने शुरू हुए थे, एंड आई थिंक मई 2021 में मैंने अपना पहला शॉट ले लिया था. अप्रैल में जब डेल्टा वेरिएंट 2021 में स्प्रेड हो रहा था, दैट वाज द टाइम व्हेन वैक्सीनेशन वाज आल्सो बीइंग गिवन. वैक्सीनेशन हैड आल्सो स्टार्टेड. मैं ओआरएन में ही रहता हूँ, तो पीछे एक म्युनिसिपैलिटी स्कूल था, मेरे को वहाँ पे स्लॉट मिला था. आई वेंट देयर, आई टुक वैक्सीनेशन. आप सबने भी वैक्सीनेशन. व्हाई वाज इट पॉसिबल टू डेवलप वैक्सीनेशन सो अर्ली? Because of a lot of international efforts and cooperation, and that is what we need to focus upon even today in order to ensure that medicines treatment for this gets prioritized and does not get nationalized. कुछ countries क्या करती हैं, vaccination पे भी nationalism लगा लेती हैं कि पहले it will come to UK and then US and then it will go to countries like India or in countries in Africa. That has to be avoided. That's another dimension that we'll have to focus upon. So abhi maine One Health, we did not cover One Health in a lot of detail. Let's briefly understand the idea of One Health. What is One Health? One Health is an approach that recognizes that health of people is closely connected with health of animals and health of. This is One Health. तो आप ना कभी भी किसी जूनोटिक डिजीज के बारे में कोई भी क्वेश्चन आएगा, वे फॉरवर्ड में वन हेल्थ अप्रोच के बारे में 2 लाइन तो लिखेंगे, नो मैटर व्हाट द क्वेश्चन इज, और इवन इफ इट्स अबाउट एनवायरमेंट, इन योर वे फॉरवर्ड यू स्पीक अबाउट वन हेल्थ। ह्यूमन हेल्थ को अच्छा रखने के लिए एनवायरमेंट हेल्थ अच्छा होना जरूरी है। इट्स नॉट अ न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट, though we have started using the term one health very recently, but even if we go to ancient period, if जैसे there is this writings of Hippocrates which says that public health and clean environment has very close relationship. तो आज से 2500 साल पहले 2500 years back also people recognized that human health is closely connected with environmental health, right? The idea of one health is very old, it just we ignored it, and that's why human health has suffered so much. Human health is facing so much problem. Okay, it is crucial for why one health is important, because we need to deal with so many zoonotic diseases. तो जैसे Nipah virus or COVID or all these things have come to us from other animals. तो ये zoonotic diseases हैं. If we want to deal with zoonotic diseases, we'll have to deal with the diseases which animals are facing. One health is crucial because we want to improve food safety and security. Why would one health ensure food safety and security? If we are taking care of other animals, let's say butterflies, pollinators रहेंगे, food secure. If we are taking care of environment, pollution नहीं कर रहे हैं, land degradation नहीं कर रहे हैं, will our agricultural output remain good? Will our food security be ensured? We are talking about why one health is crucial. One health is crucial because we want to protect ourselves from zoonotic diseases. One health is crucial because we want to ensure food safety and security. We want to reduce antimicrobial resistance. अभी समझते हैं what is antimicrobial resistance. We'll come to antimicrobial resistance. Yeah, let's understand what is antimicrobial resistance. AMR क्या होता है? Let's say there's a bacteria. ये एक bacteria है. To kill this bacteria, you give it some medicine. हम बोलते हैं antibiotic. To kill this bacteria, you give it medicine, जिसे हम antibiotic बोलते हैं. When this bacteria develop immunity against this antibiotic, when this bacteria develops immunity against this antibiotic, we say it. What has occurred? Antimicrobial resistance, antibiotic resistance. ये antibiotic था जिससे ये living organism would have died, this bacteria would have died, but now resistance has occurred. Now this is not. This is antimicrobial resistance or antibiotic resistance, and this is becoming a huge problem. पहले some bacteria which could be easily treated by some antibiotic and was not a problem for us. Doctor would diagnose, अच्छा you're suffering from this, take this tablet, ठीक हो जाओगे. इसका फोन बज रहा है भाई, बंद कर लो. सोने का टाइम, उठने का टाइम. अच्छा 1-2 रूल्स और क्लास का ध्यान कर लेते. बंद करो पहले. क्लास में फोन नहीं बजना चाहिए. 2 केसेस में फोन बजना अलाउड है. एक, आपके लव इंटरेस्ट का कॉल है, अगर आप 30 ईयर से कम हो तो, और 30 ईयर से ज़्यादा हो तो पेरेंट्स का कॉल है. मुझे लगता है 30 ईयर्स के जब आप हो जाते हो पता लग जाता है पेरेंट्स आर मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. 30 से कम होते हो तो लव इंटरेस्ट ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट लगता है. इसके अलावा किसी का फ़ोन बज गया तो मुर्गा बना देना है. ठीक है, तुम्हारा क्यों बजा? आपका अलार्म था. इसको प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी सिखाना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना. कल से गर्लफ्रेंड को बोलो कॉल करेंगे, है ना. ऐसे नहीं बोला, सर ने बोला है अलार्म नहीं बजना चाहिए क्लास में, तुम्हारा कॉल आ सकता है. गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड वॉट एवर योर चॉइस. अरे हंसने की बात नहीं है. देखो फिर से ना, व्हेन वी लाफ एट दीज थिंग्स वी काइंड ऑफ से कि दिस इज समथिंग विच इज नॉट नॉर्मल. होमोसेक्सुअलिटी इज नॉर्मल. किसी दिन उसकी भी क्लास लेंगे. इट्स नेचुरल. नेचर में बहुत सारी स्पीसीज में है ये. ठीक है. अब मुझे पता नहीं ना, मैं वैसे ही आंख बंद करके बोल रहा हूँ गर्लफ्रेंड कॉल कर रही. योर चॉइस. योर वे ऑफ लाइफ, बट उनका कॉल आना चाहिए, अलार्म नहीं बजना चाहिए, ठीक है, पक्का? सॉरी क्यों बोल रहे हो, मैं सोल्यूशन बता रहा हूं। ओके, लेट्स कम बैक। तो AMR, did we understand AMR? Now what is happening is, because we are not taking care of animals properly, हम उन्हें excess antibiotic देते जा रहे हैं, a lot of antibiotic resistance is developing and it is creating problems for us also. So because we want to fight antimicrobial resistance, that's why we need to focus on One Health. तो एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है ना, why One Health is important? One Health is important to protect us from diseases. One Health is important for our food security. One Health is important to protect us from antimicrobial resistance. One Health is important for global health security. We have just seen bird flu is creating health problems for us also. One Health is important for protecting biodiversity and environment. Bird flu is killing other animals also, other birds also. It is important to ensure better resource utilization by sharing expensive labs and resources. Now what is this last point? देखो, when we'll follow a One Health approach, डॉक्टर्स जो ह्यूमंस को ट्रीट कर रहे हैं, डॉक्टर्स जो एनिमल्स को ट्रीट कर रहे हैं, एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट, दे कैन कम टुगेदर, कोलैबोरेट टुगेदर, डू रिसर्च टुगेदर. तो लैब्स, डेटा, इंफॉर्मेशन, रिसर्च, there can be a lot of overlap and thus resource efficiency could be there. That's another important advantage why One Health is crucial. So if you are asked a question about why One Health is important, do we have enough 5-6 dimensions? 10 keywords को हम expand कर सकते हैं? In our answers, will we be able to expand them? Okay. Understanding the interconnection between human, animal and environmental health. I think with causes I have been able to explain this. So I'll not spend time on this. How does a One Health approach work? So this also we have kind of explained कि देखो, doctors, veterinary doctors, environmentalists, other stakeholders, policy makers, law and order maintain करने वाले, all of them have to coordinate, collaborate and communicate in order to create a scenario where we have healthy humans, healthy animals and healthy environment. तीनों चीजों को अच्छा करने के लिए जो जरूरत है, humans, human doctor, veterinaries, environmentalists and then policy makers will allow them to collaborate. Law and order maintain करने वाले लोग who will ensure that laws are not being violated. Antibiotics should not be that easily available for those animals. It should be regulated. It's not happening because law and order is not good. Are we comfortable here? So they work together. This is the approach in which One Health needs to get implemented. Now we have been doing various things to promote One Health in the country. One major initiative that we have launched is National One Health Mission. Under this National One Health Mission, you will see there are various ministries: Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, various departments, Department of Biotechnology जो Ministry of Science के अंदर आता है, Department of Pharmaceutical जो Ministry of Chemical के अंदर आता है, and research institution like CSIR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. They've all come together to shape the mission. Eventually the idea is that we should be able to, One Health implement करने के लिए what should be done? We should be able to develop strategies for integrated disease surveillance. Integrated disease surveillance, animals may be, environment may be, humans may be. Disease surveillance in an integrated manner हो. इसीलिए you will see Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is also involved. Ministry of Health is also involved. Department of Science and Technology is also involved. Joint outbreak response. When an outbreak takes place, all the different departments, ministries who are responsible for it, they can respond to it in a joint manner. Coordinated R&D. We know resource efficiency के लिए what's important? R&D happens in a coordinated manner and ensuring seamless information sharing among different stakeholders to deal with this issue. Then there are certain other aspects, some challenges that we are facing when it comes to in order to achieve the One Health का concept and One Health का implementation. What are the key issues, key problems that we are facing? So one is institutional and policy fragmentation in India. In India, ministries work in silos, they compete with each other. Departments work in silos, they compete with each other. They're like, hum alag hai, ye alag hai. That's a major issue. Then health in India is a state subject. If health is a state subject, every state has their own way of dealing with their health problems. If it was a union list, if it was something that was in union list, Union could have created, central government could have created a framework that everyone was following for coordination, for communication, etc. But right now, it being a state subject becomes a issue. Then India mein limited infrastructure. We're talking about sharing of resources and all, but most of the departments, most of the ministries, most of the hospitals, most of the doctors, they're overburdened. Limited human resource in these fields, fragmented data collection system, and lack of standardized reporting. Now, what is this? Dekho, there are veterinary doctors throughout the country. They treat some chicken, they treat some cattle, they treat some animal, and they get some data. Is there a mechanism by which that data goes to some centralized registry, centralized database? Right now, we don't have it. As humans, a lot of humans get treated. Unka information, does it go to some centralized place? No. So, when we talk about coordination to happen, we need a standardized mechanism by which this data is getting collected. We'll be able to take precautionary measures कि यार ये bird flu जैसा situation लग रहा है from some corner in Tamil Nadu or from some corner in Bihar or some corner in Rajasthan. But doctors treat them, this data never gets collected, creating problems. So that is why we are saying fragmented data collection is another challenge, another issue. Then WHO is also promoting a One Health approach, but there are some sovereignty issues. For example, WHO is saying that legal obligation should be there to share data on pathogens or genetic resources. Like the WHO का जो idea है One Health throughout the world promote करने का, every country will have to share their data on pathogens, data on bacteria and all, and genetic resource. Now, countries like India says that ये problematic है. We are a sovereign nation. We decide what we'll do, whether we'll share some data or not. You want access to our database? Developed countries will be having access to that, and they, in the name of IP, keep on hiding everything. And thus we would be at a disadvantage. But this is also becoming an issue in implementing One Health approach in, or we can also say internationally, globally, because the world has not been able to come to a common framework on using which One Health approach would be implemented. So what we're saying is when it comes to One Health, in problems को हमें solve करना पड़ेगा. We'll have to improve infrastructure, we'll have to increase coordination, we'll have to ensure that data collection uniform manner में हो, and internationally also a well accepted system is developed, where developing countries, developed countries, advanced countries, backward countries, everyone is agreeing to that framework and everyone is at some advantage. Then the One Health approach would be successful and zoonotic diseases or the problems caused by those diseases are taken care of. Okay, now reforming poultry sector ना ये थोड़ा सा साइंस एंड टेक का नहीं है, ये एक टॉपिक है आपके सिलेबस में GS3 में, इकोनॉमिक्स ऑफ एनिमल रियरिंग. Economics of, if you look at GS3 syllabus, one of the topics there is economics of animal rearing. There we talk about poultry sector, there we talk about animal husbandry sector, there we talk about fishery sector. But यहाँ पे because we were talking about bird flu, in April, May there was an article about how poultry sector needs to reform, needs to change in order to protect us from problems like bird flu occurring again and again. So briefly मैंने उसके साथ ही ये topic, because we are talking about bird flu, we are talking about One Health. When we talk about One Health, we also have to talk about how are we keeping our animals. By the way, when I use the word animal, please understand I'm talking about animal kingdom. So animal kingdom में birds भी आते हैं, fish भी आते हैं, सब आते हैं. Are we getting it? तो आप सोच रहे हो कि सर बार-बार animal बोल के chicken की बात कर रहे हैं, chicken is a bird. बचपन में हम 4 जानवरों के नाम लिखो, 4 पक्षियों के नाम लिखो, तो we used to differentiate between animals and birds, but here when I mean animal, I mean animal kingdom. It includes birds, fish, reptiles, insects, mammals, everyone. We're talking about that. Now, so coming back to, because we are studying the topic of One Health, we are studying the topic of bird flu. Bird flu सबसे ज़्यादा किसे impact कर रहा है? Chickens को impact कर रहा है. थोड़ा सा poultry sector में क्या-क्या challenges हैं? Briefly, let us finish that also. It's going to take 5 minutes, but we'll be done with this topic thoroughly rather than waiting for economics of animal rearing वाला chapter आना और वहाँ पे we studying this. Okay, तो अच्छा, when a question like this comes, when a question like this comes, below 30 love interest not there, parents are also not important to pick up their phone in class. अब तुम ऐसी बात करोगे तो लव इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा भी नहीं, तो नो कॉल्स, ठीक है, चिल रहो. कम बैक. If a question like this comes कि what are the challenges in poultry sector, how do we deal with it? तो देखो, there are multiple ways of introducing, but एक ना आप context wise introduce कर सकते हो. Right now we are discussing poultry sector. Why? We are discussing poultry sector because of bird flu problem. तो आप बोल सकते हो the recent resurgence of bird flu has again highlighted a number of challenges that poultry sector faces in the country. हो गया introduction? आपने recent context बता दिया. This is how you can introduce your answer. Bird flu का recent resurgence हुआ है, right? तो what are the key problems? One is unsafe conditions in which birds are kept. आपने कभी poultry industry visit किया है? अगर आपने visit किया होगा, you will see in small cages, lots of birds are in a very congested manner kept together. So crammed chicken in wire cages or battery cages in high density creates contaminated environment. These unsanitary conditions not only have detrimental effect on the welfare of animals, but also the health of those who consume this food and on the people working in these. Then एयर क्वालिटी, तो एक तो ये बर्ड्स को हम कैसे रख रहे हैं और उसके बर्ड्स पे नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट, ह्यूमंस पे नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट. Poultry sector is also responsible for air quality problems. If you have been to poultry industry or those places where meat is being sold, chicken is being sold, you'll have a bad odor, very bad odor. Then if you have been to poultry industry, there a lot of particles would be floating around which creates problem. Then chicken, उसका भी excreta होता है. That excreta, dumping that excreta has also become an issue. Initially farmers collect it, but eventually we have, you know, which is the bird with highest population in the world? Chicken. Chicken का population is 5-6 times human population. World में chicken का population 30 to 40 billion होता है. Human population is around 7 billion, 7-8 billion. जो domesticated chicken है. So the amount of waste that it is creating is also a huge concern. जिसे dump करना has emerged as a problem. Then antimicrobial resistance. हमने antimicrobial resistance समझा. अब देखो, chicken is given antibiotic one when it is sick. That is fine. But a lot of chickens are given antibiotic not only because they are sick, but to prevent them from falling sick and to increase their growth. Why would antibiotic lead to increased growth? क्या होता है ना, antibiotics end up killing a lot of bacteria who would have had a share of your food. So when those bacteria are not there in your body, what happens? All the food which is being given to you goes to increasing your weight or making milk, etc. And that is why unnecessary use of antibiotic is happening. And when unnecessary overuse of antibiotic happens, those bacteria eventually become, and those bacteria have become resistant in those animals. But when they infect us, we cannot use any medicine because they have become resistant to us. There is no treatment. जो चीज which was easily treatable, no more remains treated, creating problems. So we are saying that उनकी वजह से, poultry sector की वजह से, one, animals as well as humans' life is getting threatened. Even in the people who are working in the industry, pollution is happening, air pollution is happening, solid pollution is happening, water pollution is happening. Then we are also saying कि antimicrobial resistance होने के scope भी बढ़ रहा है. And in poultry sector, animal husbandry sector, unregulated use of antibiotics are there. Then we are also violating law. There is Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. It clearly specifies the ways animals should be kept. चाहे वो animal eventually food के लिए use होंगे, but before that you cannot be showing cruelty to them. You cannot just keep them in a congested environment for months. That's also happening. in this industry. And then there are general challenges, because we are talking about health related issues, so we have discussed those challenges, but in general challenges are there in the poultry sector. For example, poultry farmer के लिए loan लेना is more difficult than a crop farmer, food grain farmer, rice farmer और wheat farmer. किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड जो नॉर्मल फार्मर्स के लिए 1990 से अवेलेबल है, एनिमल हस्बेंड्री सेक्टर में हैज बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड ओनली इन रीसेंट. तो लैक ऑफ अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फाइनेंस, लैक ऑफ स्किल्ड मैन पावर. लाइक आपने अगर कभी पोल्ट्री का बिजनेस किया है, फाइंडिंग पीपल हु आर स्किल्ड इन दिस फील्ड, हु नो हाउ टू हैंडल इन अ हाइजीनिक मैनर दीज एनिमल्स इज एन इशू. Then market volatility. Market remains very volatile. Prices of eggs, prices of chicken keep on fluctuating, affecting the business. And finally, fluctuating feed prices. जो आप चिकन को खाना खिला रहे हो, उसका प्राइस भी फ्लक्चुएट. तो these are some general problems जो पोल्ट्री सेक्टर के साथ है ही. Other than this, because of not keeping poultry or the birds in proper manner, there are environmental issues, there are health issues, there is antimicrobial resistant related issues. Because we are covering it in science and technology, we have focused on those areas more. If we had covered it in economy, we would have focused on these areas more. If the question is in context of economy, we would have talked about these areas more. But if the question is in the context of science and tech, because मैं इसे health के perspective से, science and tech के perspective से पढ़ा रहा हूँ, I have emphasized on some other dimension. Okay, so what is the way forward? Way forward में, first of all, already Law Commission of India have given some recommendations. Law Commission of India in its 269th report had said that non-therapeutic antibiotic given to poultry causes antibiotic resistance, and therefore that has to be done away with. Only for treatment purpose antibiotics should be given. For growth or for preventive purpose, and antibiotics should not be given. One, more open, cleaner and ventilated living spaces are needed. Otherwise, Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act is also getting violated. Plus, when the animals are not being kept in healthy environment, the food coming out of them is also not healthy. This commission, Law Commission said that if your egg and meat will become safer to eat if these animals, these birds are kept in a clean, well ventilated, better environment. And therefore, Law Commission of India had come up with guidelines on how poultry sector should be managed. But when government came up with rules for egg industry in 2019, they ignored all those guidelines. So way forward में एक suggestion जो हमारा है, already Law Commission of India has provided for clear-cut guidelines on how poultry sector should be handled. Those regulations should be brought into play. Second, ensure law implement हो रहा है आपका. You have come up with Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act, and poultry sector adheres to it. Developing biofertilizer facilities around poultry cluster. One of the problem was solid waste, which is getting created by excreta of the poultry, excreta of the chicken, excreta of the hen. If we can have biofertilizer facilities developed around it, all that waste can eventually be used in creation of organic fertilizer. Then infrastructure improvement in poultry sector. Not only in the industrial sector where animals are being kept, but in the processing sector. आप अगर चिकन शॉप्स के आसपास चले जाओ, आप ना खाना छोड़ दोगे. If you have been around chicken shops, वो वहीं पे काट के एक ड्रम में they keep on collecting the waste, and वहाँ मक्खियाँ घूम रही हैं. उन पे कितने बैक्टीरियाज लग रहे हैं, bad smell is there. That is the environment in which the meat comes. Eventually, when it comes to our house, we wash it properly, we cook it properly, और अच्छे clean tables पे हम बैठ के खा रहे हैं. But it has originated in a very bad condition. So we need to improve infrastructure, not only of our butcheries in the animal husbandry sector, not only of the places where these birds are initially kept and grown, where eggs are being produced, but of the whole system. Cold storage facilities, culling facilities, all those things need to become more hygienic. Then this would happen if consumers are aware. They get to know कि the food that they are eating, वो रोज सुबह 2 अंडे हम खा रहे हैं, ऑमलेट बना के खा रहे हैं, it's coming from a very dirty environment. So they will start demanding for cleaner food items. And finally, there are other economic challenges that has to be dealt with in economic manner, ensuring कि government schemes are extended for fund related scheme, finance related schemes are extended to animal husbandry sector. हमारे पास funds, in future we will talk about various funds which have been created for animal husbandry infrastructure. Those are sidelined for, or those are given for poultry sector also. These are certain other things that we'll have to keep in mind while talking about way forward. Okay, तो चलिए बहुत सारे topics हो गए bird flu से related. We started with bird flu, but then we went to One Health, and then we also went to how to reform poultry sector. एक और चीज जो recently हुई है साइंस टेक में जो important है, Chang'e 6 mission. So what China has done is, let's say this is Earth, this is Moon. You know, one side of the Moon is always behind us. मून का एक साइड हमेशा हमारी तरफ रहता है, एंड वन साइड ऑफ द मून इज ऑलवेज बिहाइंड, है ना. वी कॉल इट द डार्क साइड, बट इट्स नॉट द डार्क साइड. वहां पे भी सनलाइट पड़ती है, इट्स ऑलवेज अवे फ्रॉम अस. ओके, तो कंसिडर इट दिस वे. Let's say this is my near side and this is the far side. I'm Earth, ये Moon है. So why are we able to see only near side of the Moon? पहले ये थोड़ा सा समझ लेते हैं. देखो, the time that Moon takes to complete one revolution around Earth and time the Moon takes to complete one rotation around Earth is same. So let's say it's 28 days. In reality, it's 27 days, something, but let's say it's 28 days. So in 28 days, it will complete one revolution, and in 28 days, it will also complete one. Sorry, in 28 days, it will complete one rotation, and in 28 days, it will also complete one revolution. So in 7 days, it would have rotated 90 degrees, and it would have revolved 90 degrees. Can you see? This is the side which is facing me. Again, in 7 days, it would have rotated 90 degree. And it would have also revolved 90 degree. So always moon का एक ही side हमें visible. We are never able to directly see the far side of the moon, because the time moon takes to complete one rotation and time moon takes to complete one revolution is same. So just think of this. ये near side, इसे bright कैसे करूँ मैं? Let me open some Google. हाँ, तो let's say this is the near side वाला, this is the far side वाला. Look at this. It will be like this forever. It will be like this. Are we getting it? ये rotate भी हो रहा है. When it has moved here, it has rotated like this. It has also, but only this side is visible. Near side and far side. But it's not the dark side. जैसे कुछ dark side of the moon, एक बहुत famous album है, I think किसका है, Led Zeppelin का है या Beatles का, किसी का album है, जब याद नहीं है. Dark side of the moon. It's not the dark side, it is the far side. First thing. Please don't speak in Hindi. Yes, I'll make sure of that. Keeping chickens in cramped confinement is violation of PCA 1960. Yes. It is violation. Animals को, if you are treating in a cruel manner, it is violation of Prevention to Cruelty of Animal Act. I'm a student in 3 years. Every year I write mains. Unfortunately, I didn't clear the mains till now. He is a gem. मैं gem हूँ तो mains clear क्यों नहीं कर रही है ना? Are you writing mains this year also? Neat, clean code. लिख रहे हो तो एक बार अपने answers भेजो मुझे. Let's understand why are you not clearing mains. है ना? Let's come back. What were you talking about? Near side, far side वाला चीज. अब पता है, a lot of countries have landed on near side of the moon. US has landed, Russia has landed, China has landed, Japan has landed, India has also landed. Means India was the 4th one, Japan 5th बना था, which has landed on the near side of the moon. China became the first country to land on the far side. It did it in 2019 under a mission that they called Chang'e 4. They landed. They became the first country to land on the far side of the moon. इससे पहले in Chang'e 3, they landed on the near side of the moon. In Chang'e 4, they landed on the far side of the moon, and they became the first country to land on the far side. Chang'e 4, when it landed on the far side of the moon, they became the first country to land on the far side of the moon. हाँ, पिंक फ्लॉयड भी हो सकता है, I'm sorry, हाँ पिंक फ्लॉयड भी हो सकता है. कम बैक टू दिस. तो देखो चाइना का ना एक प्रोजेक्ट है, जैसे अपना चंद्रयान है ना, चंद्रयान 1, चंद्रयान 2, चंद्रयान 3, चंद्रयान 4. चाइना का जो मून मिशन है दैट इज कॉल्ड Chang'e. Chang'e 1, Chang'e 2 में उन्होंने क्या किया, दे ऑर्बिटेड अराउंड मून. Chang'e 3 में दे लैंडेड ऑन द नियर साइड ऑफ द मून. Chang'e 4 में दे लैंडेड ऑन द फार साइड ऑफ. Chang'e 5 में they landed on the near side of the moon and brought some material back. तो चांद तोड़ लाए. तो I say this कि अब चाइनीज बॉयफ्रेंड कैन टेल देयर गर्लफ्रेंड्स, हर तू जो कह दे तो चांद तारों को तोड़ लाऊं मैं. थोड़ा सा चांद तो लेके आ गए. US people did it way back in 1970s when they landed humans on moon. Russia has also brought material back from moon. China has also brought material back from moon. This they did in Chang'e in 2020. So they were not the first country to bring back material from the USA had done it, Russia had done it. But now given Chang'e 6, they have become the first country to bring material from the far side of. In June, they brought back material. In June, they brought back material from far side of the moon. That is, they landed on the moon. थोड़ा सा वहाँ से material collect किया. They ascended. They came back to Earth. They brought back material. तो Chang'e 6 में US, US बोल रहा हूँ मैं, China. Chang'e 6 में China became the first country in the world to land on the far side of the moon. वो तो Chang'e 4 में ही land कर दिया था. And bring soil sample and rock sample from the far side. बात समझ में आई? Chang'e 6 में what have they been able to, what have they done? Okay, so 1, 2 revolve, 3 land, 4 land on far side, 5 land on near side and bring material, 6 land on far side and bring material. अभी हुआ है आपने, I think 5-6 days back you must have read this in news. A lot of articles related to Chang'e 6 were there. Are we all comfortable with this? Are we understanding what has happened? When we'll study science and technology, there will exactly understand the science behind how landing takes place, how rising takes place. उसमें we will understand every aspect of Chandrayaan. Don't worry. Abhi the class focus is not about the fundamentals of space. Class focus is about current affairs and how in mains we may be asked question on Chang'e 6 and how should we be able to answer it. This is just the fact about it. 3 land on the near side, 4 land on the far side, 5 land on the near side and bring material back, 6 land on the far side and bring material. Sir, the far side keeps changing. No, nahi. Far side remains far side, na? That is the idea. Far side is never visible to us. अगर वो near बन जाता तो visible हो गया ना? Far side is always same and it remains like that. So the material which they bring must be of great value in terms of money. Yes, it's not that it has gold or anything like that, but it is something from moon. And when US brought material back from moon in 1970s, they're still doing research and development on that. We'll understand the reason, what is the significance of these missions. We'll come to that. In fact, अभी ये factual चीजें समझ में आई? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 में what happened? Let's now look at this question. Discuss the significance of sample return missions from the lunar far side. मून के फार साइड से जो आप सैंपल लेके आए हो, discuss its significance with specific reference to China's Chang'e. In last 10 years, in 2013 UPSC changed its syllabus. In last 10 years, a lot of 8 questions on space have been asked in mains examination. Prelims में तो बहुत सारे पूछे गए. In mains examination, 8 questions on mains have been asked. Out of those, 2 questions have been about international affairs. In 2017, they asked a question on ज़ूनो. ज़ूनो कैसे यूनिवर्स की अंडरस्टैंडिंग में हमें हेल्प कर रहा है. ज़ूनो वाज अ नासा मिशन. Then in 2021 or 22, they asked about James Webb Space Telescope. James Webb Space Telescope was another initiative by NASA. It was launched in 2021. In mains 2022, they asked a question on. And I think this year, the biggest achievement so far in 2024. In 2023 for us, Chandrayaan 3 was important, the most important thing. And in mains 2023, they already asked a question on. In August, we landed on moon. And in September, Chandrayaan landed on UPSC's paper. They asked a question on Chandrayaan 3 and its various components. In 2024, so far, most important mission that has been there is Chang'e 6. So, we have asked a question ki what is the significance of bringing material from the far side of the moon? Discuss it with reference to Chang'e. We should be able to answer this. So, सबसे पहले introduction. So, introduction now all of us will be able to write a simple good introduction. Chang'e 6 is a moon mission by China in which they brought material from they became the first country in the world to bring soil and rock samples from the far side of the moon. क्या हम सब ये लिख सकते हैं? Isn't it very easy? When we do not write answers and when we do not think from the perspective of, when we do not study from the perspective of examination, we do not think यार intro कैसे लिखेंगे, and then we start getting confused कि how intro should have been written. But when you are always thinking of exams, कि Chang'e 6 इस पे अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आता है तो what should be the intro, you'll always be ready for it. चाइना का मिशन है, first mission globally to land on the far side of the moon and material back. Suppose it's a 15-mark question, you have more time, more space, or if the question is what is Chang'e 6, there you cannot just write the introduction, you'll have to write other things also, right? उसमें कुछ और भी चीजें हैं, where the sample has been collected from, all those aspects we'll talk about. Okay, first, will we all be able to write a simple intro? Now, this Chang'e 6 had landed on oldest and largest lunar crater, South Pole Aitken Basin. Now, you may be thinking about technical ho raha hai, but it's useful. Please understand, on the far side, it landed on this crater. This crater has been created by, in the past, a large object may have hit it and this crater was created. And it is believed that this crater also exposed some part of moon's crust and mantle. When we land here and when we collect samples from here, are we also able to understand some part of about the interior of the moon? Are we also able to understand the interior about some things about the interior of the moon? That's why the significance, where it landed is important. It landed, the samples has been collected from one of the oldest and largest lunar crater, South Pole Aitken Basin. Due to moon's rotation, far side becomes near and near side far. No, nahi beta, you did not understand when I जब बताया. Can someone give me something bright? नहीं? सौरभ, तुम ही मेरे चांद बन जाओ, आ जाओ. कम आओ, खड़े हो जाओ. हाँ, ऐसे ही खड़े रहो. अरे उधर मुड़ो. अबे फार नहीं, नियर साइड है ना. देखो, लेट्स से आई एम मून. तुम कैमरे में दिख रहे हो कि नहीं? हाँ, दिख रहे हो. उधर इधर ही रहो, इधर ही रहो. इसका नियर साइड मेरी तरफ है, फार साइड उस तरफ है ना. तो हिज बैक इज फार साइड, हिज फ्रंट इज नियर साइड, है ना. रोटेट हो 90 डिग्री, 90 डिग्री. हाँ, पूरे रोटेट होते रहो, घूमते रहो. अरे रुको मत, दिस इज रुको मत, दिस इज रोटेशन. इफ इट वाज जस्ट सिंपल रोटेशन, इसका हाँ घूमते रहो. his far side is also coming towards me, his near side is also coming towards me. Okay, अब near side इधर आके रुको, हाँ, but is not only rotating, है ना, is revolving also. तो 90 degree rotate हो. अगर इसने बस rotate किया होता तो his this side would have been visible to me, but in this time he has also revolved 90 degree. इधर आ जाओ, हाँ, 90 degree rotation. वहां से he is in 90 degree rotation and has also revolved 90 degree. Which side is visible to me? Near side. So far side never becomes visible to me. When he'll reach here, आ जाओ यहाँ से. When he'll reach here, what's happening? He has rotated 90 degree, rotate भी हो गया, and he has revolved also. He has rotated and he has revolved also. Again, near side is visible. So always near side will be visible. Thank you. Okay, Vaishali, I hope you understood it, beta. पता नहीं उन्हें समझ में आया कि नहीं. एनीवेज, तो Chang'e-6 चाइना का मून मिशन which became the first mission globally to bring material back from. इंट्रो अपना हो गया, और कुछ लिखना होगा तो the material was brought from South Pole Aitken Basin, which is the largest and oldest lunar crater. और किस साइड है? फार साइड. Fine. Now, what can the lunar sample brought by Chang'e-6 reveal? What is the significance of this material that Chang'e-6 has brought? First, understanding geographical difference on moon's two sides. This is a very important part. Earth ka na, there is not a lot of geological difference on two sides, but on moon, the two sides are different. Geologically, they are very different. You would see the far side of the moon is geologically different from near side. It has thicker crust. Far side has thicker crust, more craters, and fewer plains where lava once flew. So it's very different from near side. Near side is more planar. Near side is protected because of Earth's magnetic field. Far side gets exposed to a lot of solar flares, a lot of solar material also falls on it. So far side in this way is very different from near side. So when we are bringing material from far side, it is also going to help us understand the geological difference between near side and far side. Near side se to material in the past has come, from far side it had never come. So we are talking again from the mains perspective. Question is ki why these kind of missions are significant, why these kind of missions are important. One, it will help us understand the difference between two sides of the moon first. Second, understanding moon's history and origin. Material कहाँ से आया है? SPA, South Pole Aitken Basin, oldest and largest crater on moon. It will be, देखो, when we understand the origin of Earth, we say कि उसमें हम for that we need to understand कि crust, mantle, core, what are the different material there. If we are able to understand that for moon, will we be able to understand the history of moon, origin of moon? That's one thing that we'll be able to do. Then understand the resources on moon. When we are getting some samples from there, we'll be able to see what are the things there. For example, something as simple as when we brought soil and rock from there, क्या उस soil or rock से can we make bricks in future by 3D printing? In future, when we want to have colonies on moon, we will not take bricks from here to make infrastructure, no? So is that material suitable for it or not? Something as basic as this could be evaluated only when we have that material. Then if there is ice, South Pole ke wahan pe, if there is some ice there, so that in future that ice is basically water, that water by the process of electrolysis can be converted into H2 and O2, and H2 can be the fuel, rocket fuel that is needed, or whether it has helium-3 or not. Now helium-3 is an isotope of helium. Generally helium-3 नहीं होता, which is the isotope of helium that we are aware of? Helium-4, है ना, यही होता है ना. आप हीलियम के बारे में जब पढ़ते हो तो you write helium like this, है ना. In its nucleus we have 2 protons and 2 neutrons. We have 2 protons and 2 neutrons, isn't it? But what if In case of helium-3, we have 2 protons, and this is an isotope of helium. And other than hydrogen, helium-3 is the only known element or form of element which has more proton than neutron. Hydrogen has 1 proton, 0 neutron. It has 2 proton, 1 neutron, so it has more proton than. Now, why helium-3 is important? Helium-3, scientists have found, can be an important source of fuel in nuclear fuel, fusion energy के लिए, and it can serve in India's बोल रहा हूँ, world's need for a very, very long. And the far side of the moon is expected to have a lot of helium. So resources from moon is also crucial. Resources from moon is also important. I hope we are understanding. So why bringing material from far side of the moon is important? If a question like this is asked in the examination, do we all have 5-6 important points to write? Understanding the geological difference between near side and far side, understanding the origin and history, studying the resources, whether soil is suitable for making 3D printed bricks, whether there is water which can in future be converted into hydrogen which can act as rocket fuel, whether how much helium-3 is there. ये सब चीजें हम लिख सकते हैं. Then there are some other significance of this mission. One is we have for the first time gone on the far side. Then these kind of missions are crucial because we'll be able to do more analysis. When we send some equipments there, they are very small equipments. There are limitations on how much weight we can carry and all. But when we bring the material back on Earth, we have very large detailed equipments. Can we do much more detailed atomic analysis here? Our understanding of moon can be much better here. Moreover, okay, when USA landed on moon and brought material from moon, Apollo missions में जब humans landed on moon in 1970s and brought material from there, आज तक वो material पे वो research कर. Why are they doing it? Because in 1970s our scientific understanding of various things was limited. As technology is improving, we'll be able to understand those material more. So today when we have brought this material, we can study it today with detailed equipments. But 10 years, 20 years down the line also, as our equipments improve, what would happen? We'll be able to study these material in much better way. Thus, in future also, these things would be crucial for us. Then, for China, there are some other significance. जो अभी तक हमने significance पढ़े, that's for everyone. That will be useful for everyone. Understanding the difference between far side and near side, understanding whether helium-3 is there or not. But Chang'e 6 kind of mission is crucial for China because it reflects broader space ambition, geopolitical aspiration of China. It enhances international cooperation of China with other countries. इस पे some payloads from European Space Agency, France, Italy and Pakistan had also gone, and होना चाहिए etc. नहीं. From these 4 countries payload had gone. So China is collaborating with a number of other countries. If it does that, does its soft power increase? Yes. Does its influence increase? Yes. And not only is this significance from the cooperation's point of view, it is also significant from competition point of view. USA is planning to send humans back to moon again under Artemis program. China is competing with it. China has achieved something difficult. Landing on the far side moon of the moon is difficult. Why? Because remember, Saurabh जब यहाँ पे खड़ा था, उसका far side is away from my line of sight. I cannot send signal there. I cannot receive signal there directly. So communication on the far side becomes very difficult. So landing there and these things become problematic, become difficult. If China is able to do, China is also telling competitor USA, we are coming for you. Right? So while it's promoting international cooperation, it's also competing and trying to stay ahead of the competitor. So जैसे मैंने बोला, these are certain things which are significant from China's perspective. Question can be, कि वाई वॉज इट इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर चाइना, तो हम बाकी सारी चीजें तो बोलेंगे, चाइना विल बी एबल टू स्टडी ऑल दीज थिंग्स, बट चाइना अपना जियोपॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस भी बढ़ाएगा, अपने सॉफ्ट पावर बढ़ाएगा, इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाएगा, और अपना कंपटीशन भी, अपने कंपटीशन को भी बता रहा है कि वी आर कमिंग. ओके, इंडिया इज ऑल्सो प्लानिंग अ सैंपल रिटर्न. आर Chandrayaan 4, Chandrayaan 3 में we landed on the moon, Chandrayaan 4 में we will be bringing material back from the moon, but most probably it will be from the near side of the moon. Landing on the far side of moon is a bit more complex. It will be from near side of the moon only. So the resources on the moon have contributed to a new race to moon. Both USA and China plan to put astronauts on moon before the end of this decade. The success of Chang'e 6 is seen as an important step towards achieving this goal by China. China wants to land people on moon, and if it's able to perform something as complicated as Chang'e 6, landing on the far side, bringing material from there, it indicates that China is in the right track in sending humans. So by 2030, China wants to land humans on moon. By in next 1 or 2 years, USA would do it under Artemis. Initially they had planned that by 2025 they'll do it, but now perhaps by 2026 they'll be landing humans back on under their Artemis program. Apna moon landing is going to take some time. I think by 2040, 2036 tak we plan to have our own space station. China already has its space station, and by 2040 we may be able to land humans on. No one has landed on the far side of the moon other than China. Chang'e 4 was the first mission to land on the far side of the moon. No other country. And Chang'e 6 में they are the first country to bring material from the far side. अरे मून पे लैंडिंग ही किसने करी है? यूएस ने करी थी, रशिया ने करी थी, उसके बाद चाइना डिड इट, वी वर द 4th country, and Japan is the 5th country. Japan did it in February 2024. No other country has landed on moon. Far side तो भूल जाओ. Moon landing was a huge achievement. Vaishali is saying, sir, do other countries have access to these material? So yes, what really happens is countries which are cooperating with China, they get access to those material. More importantly, when R&D happens and research gets published, everyone gets to know about what are the findings from those places. Though they are at advantage, they may hide some important research and get access to those resources first. Those kind of things may happen, but still far side और near side में क्या difference है वो सबको पता लगेगा, सब पढ़ पाएंगे. Okay, so this was Chang'e 6. I hope if a question, again you have understood the factual aspect, but more importantly for me what was more important, आप क्वेश्चन, इस पे क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकता है उसको कैसे आंसर करोगे. You should be in a position to answer that. We always have to, whenever you are studying something, कोई भी चीज पढ़ रहे हो ना और ये सोचना है कि ये पढ़ना चाहिए या नहीं, सोचो UPSC ask a question on this. In what form will it ask a question? If you'll keep that in mind, you'll always be studying the right thing. And that is why always keep your syllabus in front of you. जब तक syllabus पूरा cram नहीं कर लेते ना, what is the syllabus? Go through it once every day. हर रोज एक बार अपना पूरा syllabus read करो, क्या है syllabus. उससे you'll be able to keep your course, your teachers accountable. When they say GS3 is completed, you will be like, ये वाला bullet, ये वाला bullet point, ये वाला bullet point, ये वाला bullet point. ये तो कुछ आता ही नहीं मुझे. How are you saying it's completed? Always keep syllabus in front. Always keep PYQs with you. And your biggest tools when it comes to preparation for civil services examination is the syllabus and PYQ. उसके बाद कुछ और आएगा. ओके, सुबह वॉशरूम जाते हो ना, वहीं दीवार पे चिपका लो सिलेबस. सबसे पहले रोज उठ के बैठोगे, जब 5 मिनट सिलेबस देखो क्या है, रीड देम अगेन एंड अगेन. कोई भी पोर्शन ऑफ सिलेबस मिस नहीं होगा. ओके, लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक्स. कुछ प्रीलिम्स फैक्ट्स देख. बिफोर वी गो टू GS2, लेट अस लुक एट सम ऑफ द प्रीलिम्स फैक्ट्स. Grape Shot is asking a question. Why so much effort to land on the moon? Only by 2040 when moon landing already done in 1960. तो अपोलो मिशंस में USA had already done landing on moon in 1960, early 1970s, late 19, but those were very expensive missions. It used to cost billions of dollars, and till then we were, or humankind was not able to understand the significance. So when NASA was spending billions of dollars on those things, it was impacting USA, so they gave up on that. In 1960s, 1970s, 1973 के आसपास 1973-74 में कोई लास्ट मिशन गया था, उसके बाद they never sent humans on moon. But now when they want to send humans on moon, they'll be using different technologies. It will not be costing that much. अगर billions of dollars लग रहे हैं हर moon mission में, so it will not be possible for any country in the world to continuously be there and work there and deal with the challenges there. So Artemis Accord के अंदर USA is collaborating with a lot of countries. Technologies have improved, technologies have changed, and our understanding of moon has also changed. Now we know that it has helium-3, which can be an important source of energy. आप वो मूवी याद है अवतार, जो भी आप बोलना चाहिए. Why were these people going there? A far away place में, because they had some resources which were very expensive for Earth and which had a lot of value on it. Okay, Mansi is asking, in parts Chandrayaan 4 is taking place. Chandrayaan 4 will be going and getting material from moon, and this time we are doing something different in Chandrayaan 4. Till now what we did in Chandrayaan 3 was the entire Chandrayaan 3 went as a single piece, but Chandrayaan 4 may go in parts and it will get assembled in space, so that our smaller rockets will also be able to carry it. If you have a bigger payload, you will need a more powerful rocket, but if you do not have that powerful rocket, you will carry components in space and then assemble those things in space separately. So recently, a few days back, 2-3 days back, there was a newspaper article where the ISRO head had said we may be taking Chandrayaan 4 into space in parts. Okay, so Mansi beta, is this what you were trying to ask? एक बार बताइए मुझे अगर यही पूछ रहे थे, and if I have answered your question, let's go to prelims facts. देखो prelims facts में अभी तक whatever we studied, Chang'e 6, it is useful for prelims also, it is useful for mains also. Like in prelims they may ask you, was it the first, they may give one of the statement, it is the first mission to land on the far side of the moon. You will say wrong. First mission to land on the far side of moon was Chang'e 4. Second statement can be, it is the first mission to bring material from the far side of the moon. You will say it's correct. It was an initiative of China. You will say it's correct. ऐसे आपको, you may be given 3-4 statements and you may be asked objective question, but you may also be asked subjective question. What is the significance of these resource returner missions? जो resource को लेके आते हैं या lunar surface से जो material लेके आ रहे हैं, what is the significance of that? They may ask questions like that. You should be able to answer that also. Right, now let's talk about some prelims facts. ये बस prelims के लिए useful. कई बार they give you name of 3-4 places and then in front of them name of the countries and they ask how many of the above are correctly matched. Right, they ask you this kind of question. So one such place that we want to discuss. So again, mapping is something that we cover in a lot of detail. February में कहीं हम एक दो mapping की classes लेंगे of around 10-12 hours and the entire world map, starting from East Asia to US. Every point, every relevant important point with all the PYQs we do. In fact, this year also in March I had done it. 4 classes ली थी, चारों YouTube पे. If you want to watch them, it's total, and I have covered all the PYQs 95 से 2023 तक. Now next year I'll also include 2024 PYQ, but 95 से 2023 PYQs I had also covered all those PYQs. It's there on YouTube already. I think March 15 को मैंने पहला क्लास लिया था, उसके बाद I took 3 more classes. So there we do things systematically. We'll go to Russia and we'll talk about all the important places in Russia which were in news. But here we'll briefly keep on studying these individual places every week. So every week, please bring your atlas. Have your atlas in front of you. For now, I'll open Google Maps. Let me go to Chrome. I'll briefly open this and let me take you to, because whenever you're talking about a place, you should be able to recognize which area are we talking about. So can you look at this? This is Russia, this big country. The north here is Mongolia, China, India, Kazakhstan. On this side, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Black Sea, Caspian Sea. ये रशिया ही है. This region is called Caucasus region. यहाँ पे जॉर्जिया, आर्मेनिया, अजरबैजान, these are the 3 countries which are located here, है ना. अब देखो, this is Russia. This is Russia. Okay. This is the border of Russia. तो रशिया यहाँ पे भी है. यहाँ पे एक टेरिटरी है उनका, that is राजस्थान. You can see कि यहाँ पे एकदम कैस्पियन सी के, तो सदर्न मोस्ट टेरिटरी ऑफ रशिया. दिस रीजन इज कॉल्ड कॉकस रीजन. कॉकस में ईस्टर्न मोस्ट पार्ट. यहाँ पे रिसेंटली सम टेररिस्ट अटैक्स टुक प्लेस. 20+ people had died. So this place was in news. So you in preliminary examination, they may give you Dagestan, उसके आगे लिख देंगे Kazakhstan, and they'll ask you whether it's correct or not. You will say no, it's in. This place, people know this place because of a famous MMA fighter, Habib. He's like, I think world में सबसे famous, like 2018 से 2021 तक he remained unbeaten and is the most famous MMA fighter of the world. ऐसा सीन है. So when I was covering this in 2023 में for 2024 preliminary examination, in March some student told me about this. I don't follow MMA, I didn't know about it. तो मैंने घर पे जाके थोड़ा और पढ़ा about this fighter. So people knew this place because of that, but it's a part of Russia. So prelims में, when this kind of question comes, where is it located, which country it is located, why was it in news, you should be able to answer that. So Dagestan is a province of Russia within the Russian Federation. Though its official name is Republic of Dagestan, it may appear that it's a separate country. It is not. It means Dagestan का literal translation है land of mountains. So it's a mountainous territory. It's located in the northern Caucasus region. As I told you, between Black Sea and Caspian Sea, this region is called Caucasus region because of Caucasus mountains here. So it's located in the northern Caucasus region, and it has Georgia and Chechnya to its west. So Chechnya is a territory in Russia and Georgia is a separate country. So to its west, these countries are there, and it's one of the most diverse provinces of Russia. There are people from 40 different ethnicities who are living here. It's a Muslim dominated province, and abhi June mein it was in news because at least 19 people were killed and 25 injured in a coordinated shooting at various places of worship in Russia's southernmost Dagestan Republic. So we know वहाँ पे Israel and Palestine war is going on, right? So the Muslim people all across the world are unhappy with Israel, the way they're treating the Palestinian people. They have their argument, they have their argument. We are not going into that debate, but because of that, at a number of Jew places, attacks are taking place. Here also, 2 synagogues, one in the city of Derbent and one in the city of Makhachkala. These were attacked. अब पता है प्रीलिम्स में आपको ये भी दे दिया जाता है, इस सिटी का नाम दे दिया जाएगा, पूछेंगे कहाँ पे है. तो this Makhachkala is the capital of Republic of Dagestan. Okay, all factual things for preliminary examination. Another place which was in news was Lake Natron. Let's talk about this. Megha is asking, helium is more reactive, so sir, isotope of helium than helium. बेटा helium is a noble gas, है ना, chemical reaction तो करेगा ही नहीं ना, उसकी nuclear properties देखो, when an isotope is there, its nuclear property is different. जैसे carbon 12 and carbon 14, their ability to react with oxygen is same because their electrons are same, their chemical properties are same. Carbon 12 reacts with O2 to form CO2, carbon 14 reacts with O2 to form CO2. Their nuclear properties are different. Carbon 14 decays, its nucleus breaks because it's unstable. Carbon 12 का it doesn't. ऐसे ही helium 4 and helium 3 में nuclear properties would be different, chemical property would be same. Helium 4 is a noble gas, helium 3 will also be a noble gas. Its chemical properties would not be different. Okay. Now let's come back to places in news में Lake Natron. We'll talk about Lake Natron a bit, but first let's go to the map. देखो, you see this country Tanzania? Tanzania के north में, not this one. This is the famous Lake Victoria. Nile River starts from there. We'll study about Lake Victoria in a lot of details in coming days. But अभी news में क्या था? Lake Natron. Where is it located? I'm expanding this so that I can focus on Lake Natron. Can you see this small blue color आ गया? Tanzania, Kenya के border पे. Just see this one. Recently news में था, Down to Earth में. There was an article on it, the problems it is facing. There was an article related to that. So let us understand some things about Lake Natron. यहाँ पे you see this is Tanzania, ऊपर Kenya है. This is Lake Natron, this is Lake Victoria. बड़ा वाला. Let me again come back here. This is Lake Victoria, this is Tanzania, this is Kenya. A small part of this lake is also located in. So first, where is this lake located? This type of question would be asked. So primarily in Tanzania, a small part in Kenya. Right? It's a highly alkaline lake. And most of the animals and birds who go into this lake, who drink water from this lake, they die. They die. But एक flamingo है which survives here, and it's thus a very important ground for flamingos. समझते हैं, उसको पढ़ते हैं, but let's understand why it's poisonous. वो सारी चीजें को थोड़ा समझेंगे. But first thing is Lake Natron. Where is it located? Tanzania. A small part in Kenya. It's a Ramsar site. Now Ramsar site क्या होते हैं? अभी एक ना, there is Ramsar Convention. Under Ramsar Convention, हम wetlands are lakes, ponds, etc., which are of international importance. उनको identify करते हैं. जैसे इंडिया में 80 Ramsar sites are there. India में 80 Ramsar sites are there. So 80 wetlands of international importance. ऐसे ही Lake Natron is a Ramsar site in Tanzania. Okay, we'll study about Ramsar in a lot of detail again in future. Don't worry. Okay, तो अभी क्या? Lake Natron is located in Tanzania, a small part in Kenya. It's a Ramsar site. It is located in Gregory Rift, which is the eastern branch of the East African Rift fractures. Now, many of you may not understand what this is. For this, again, we'll go to the map and we'll understand. देखो, this part of Africa is moving from rest of the Africa, and a rift is getting. Eventually, you will see millions of years later, a separate island would get created. So the rift which is there is called, rift which is getting created is called East African Rift Fracture. उसी का एक extension है Gregory Rift, where this lake is. Fine. Now some unique aspects about this lake. Sometimes become red or orange red. It's because of the algae which survives here, and this redness can be seen even from space. NASA के spacecraft have taken pictures where it's able to see this reddish color. Why does it happen? It happens because of not every algae can survive, it's very alkaline system. So some algae which survive here, they have pigments which are reddish in color. Lake is very hot. In summers, its temperature may go up to 60 degrees Celsius. It's located in desert region, very hot region, and otherwise also. It gets what is known as phantom rain. So it gets rainfall. So you will see 400 mm or 40 centimeter tak rainfall milta hai. 40 centimeter rainfall is very less. But a lot of the rainfall evaporates before it falls on the, because of high temperature, it evaporates between only. इसलिए इसे बोल रहे हैं phantom rain. It receives what is known as phantom rain. Okay, then if you'll see here, just besides the lake, there is this volcano. This is Mount 𝐂𝐲𝐬, and this volcano feeds the. So this lake has no outlet, no water goes out of it, but from the nearby places after rainfall and all, a lot of streams comes through, and even on this volcano when water falls, the volcano se bahut sare nutrients and all those things will be washed off into the lake. So the water coming into the lake leaches through the volcanic material of nearby Mount 𝐂𝐲𝐬𝐬. The lake's water is highly alkaline. Why is it alkaline? Because of the material coming from the volcano. And the lake's water is also very poisonous. It consists of large salt, soda, magnesite deposit. Plus, so it can be problematic because of these deposits, but this deposit make it salted. It becomes poisonous because of this cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria, ये ना इसे कई बार हम एल्गी भी बोलते हैं. They are phototrophic substances जो sunlight के presence में photosynthesis से अपना food बनाते हैं, and they produce some chemicals which are damaging for our inner organs. So any bird, any animal which goes into this lake, what happens? If it drinks this water, this cyanobacteria will go into its body. It will produce those chemicals because of which the animal would die. And this body does, the animal which dies, its body does not get decomposed easily, because बाकी organisms, living organisms यहाँ survive ही नहीं कर सकते इस condition में. So they get kind of solidified, and in future they can be extracted from there. If you look for this image of this this lake, you will see a lot of dead animals' body covered with salt surviving there in solid form. Dead animals' body. Animal and bird corpses can be found in and around the lake. Then flamingos thrive where others perish. Flamingo is this bird. You can see this bird. It can thrive here because जो poison produce कर रहा था ना cyanobacteria, वो इसके inner parts को impact नहीं. So all other birds would come and die. They will not. If you see this image, you can see birds flying. These are the flamingos that are flying. Abhi down to earth में, this was in news because of climate change and other factors. This lake is also getting destroyed, getting affected, which may impact the flamingo population. For this reason, it was. Are we understanding this? Let's talk about flamingos a bit. देखो, अच्छा, do we understand old world flamingos and new world flamingos? ये क्या होते हैं? न्यू वर्ल्ड किसे बोलते हैं? अमेरिकन कॉन्टिनेंट को. तो जो फ्लेमिंगोस अमेरिकन कॉन्टिनेंट में है, दोज आर न्यू वर्ल्ड फ्लेमिंगो. एंड जो फ्लेमिंगोस रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में, एशिया, अफ्रीका, यूरोप, इनमें है, दे आर कॉल्ड ओल्ड वर्ल्ड फ्लेमिंगोस. सेम इज द केस विद मंकीज. ओल्ड वर्ल्ड मंकीज, न्यू वर्ल्ड मंकीज. इट इज द मीनिंग. देखो, द कॉन्टिनेंट, द अमेरिकन कॉन्टिनेंट, दे वर इनिशियली, all this territory was a single continent. So monkeys were there, they were living in this territory, but then they got separated. Those monkeys evolved differently, those flamingos evolved differently, new species developed there. For millions of years we remained separated. Then humans developed technologies, they were able to connect these places, and we got to know, okay, there are some flamingos there also. we call them New World flamingos. There are some flamingos on this part also, we call them Old World flamingos. ऐसे New World monkey, Old World monkey, these terms I hope you will be able to understand. So in the Old World there are only two flamingos, lesser flamingo, ये जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं, lesser flamingo and greater flamingo. There are only two flamingos, lesser flamingos and greater flamingo. These are large birds. जैसे lesser flamingo, we are saying it is the smallest species of flamingo, but still it's so huge, it's big, though it is tall and large bird by most standard. So among all the 6 flamingos which are there in the world, lesser flamingo is the smallest of them. But in the Old World there are only 2 flamingos, lesser and greater. उसमें भी ये छोटा, सबसे ये ओवरऑल ही सबसे छोटा है. मोस्ट लेसर फ्लेमिंगो, अच्छा, दे अकर इन सब सहारन अफ्रीका एंड वेस्टर्न इंडिया. मुंबई के अराउंड आपको मिलेंगे सब सहारन अफ्रीका, यहाँ पे अराउंड दिस लेक यू विल फाइंड देम. मोस्ट लेसर फ्लेमिंगोज इन इंडिया फीड इन एंड अराउंड मुंबई मड फ्लैट्स. ये मैंने ओल्ड वर्ल्ड और न्यू वर्ल्ड वाली चीज पढ़ा बता दी आपको. क्लियरेस्ट डिफरेंस बिटवीन ग्रेटर फ्लेमिंगो एंड लेसर फ्लेमिंगो इज द मच मोर एक्सटेंसिव ब्लैक ऑन द बिल. You will see its bill, इसकी चोंच पूरी blackish color की है. Now you will see that the size is different, no? We can differentiate between lesser flamingo and greater flamingo by size. But think of this: lesser flamingo का कोई बड़ा bird, adult bird, और greater flamingo का कोई बच्चा bird आपके सामने रख दिया जाए, बोले कि बताओ इसमें कौन सा lesser flamingo है, कौन सा greater flamingo है. By size you will not be able to tell. How will you be able to tell? Lesser flamingo has completely black bill. That is one of the key characteristic which separate it from greater flamingo. The species feed primarily on spirulina and algae which grow only in very alkaline lakes. अभी जैसे अपन ने लेक की तंजानिया वाले लेक की बात करी थी, it feeds on that. अब because it grows in very alkaline lake, the places where we find flamingos, those places are not very good for agriculture because the water there will be very alkaline and thus may not be, thus definitely will not be so. Got it? So if I make in next Sunday's test, if I make a question on flamingos, I hope you will be able to answer it. क्या हुआ, हिचकी आ गई आपको? हाँ, I hope आप आंसर कर पाएंगे. ये इस तरह की चीज अभी ना, I'll tell you some of the questions which were asked in prelims this year. अभी कुछ चीजें हम पढ़ाएंगे जो इस साल के prelims में ही पूछी गई है. So these kind of things do get asked. Where are these birds found? New world है, old world है, differences क्या है? These kind of things do get asked. Okay, world craft cover. इसे रुको, पहले let's cover biodiversity because we're dealing with biodiversity. Bornean elephants. I think it was in news day before yesterday only. इनको endangered list में डाला है IUCN, Bornean elephants. So before we study Bornean elephants, let us understand how many elephant species are there in the world. 3. There are 3 elephant species. एक Asian है, 2 African है. African में let's come to this first. 3 elephant species में we have Asiatic elephant, जो इंडिया में elephant मिलता है या South East Asia में मिलता है. If you come to this figure here, in this region of the world, Asiatic elephants are found. Can you see this? Southeast Asia, India, Nepal. In these places, which elephant is found? Asiatic elephant. And then we have African bush elephant, या savanna elephant, and African forest elephant. ये जो equatorial region में जो ये वाला color है ना, this is the region where African forest elephant is. जो evergreen forest, dense forest में मिलेंगे, they are known as African forest elephant, and these are known as African bush elephant. They are found in savanna grassland. So in world there are 3 species of elephant. In world there are 3 species of elephant. ये चीज क्लियर है सबसे पहले हम सबको? Okay. Now let's understand one more thing. I'll take 1 minute because many of you are starting your preparation and thus may not know what endangered, critically endangered are. So bas briefly we'll cover this in more details in environment class in future. But देखो, there's a international organization IUCN. वो डिफरेंट एनिमल्स, प्लांट्स, इन सबको कितना थ्रेटेंड है उसके बेसिस पे एक स्टेटस देता है. लाइक एनी प्लांट और एनी एनिमल विच इज कंप्लीटली बिकम एक्सटिंक्ट, इट कॉल्स इट doesn't exist in world anymore. For example, mammoth. Do you understand what mammoth is? वो आइस एज देखा है? आइस एज में बड़ा वाला हाथी होता है ना, उसके बहुत बाल होते हैं. That's mammoth, but it is extinct now. As ice age ended, it became extinct. So that's a elephant. तुम पानी वानी पी लो यार. पी रहे हो, फिर भी हिचकियाँ आ रही हैं. कोई तो याद कर रही है तुम्हें ना, मम्मी भी कर रही होंगी यार. हंस क्यों रहे हो? पी लो, आराम से पी लो. नहीं हो गया पक्का? पानी पी के ठीक हो जाता है? ये तो एक सांस रोकने का भी तरीका होता है, उससे भी ठीक हो जाते हैं. विल ट्राई 5 मिनट सांस रोक के बैठ जाओ, जीवन में कभी हिचकी नहीं आएगी. ओके, लेट्स कम बैक. तो स्पीसीज विच हैव कंप्लीटली बिकम एक्सटिंक्ट, which do not exist in world anymore, IUCN उसे EX बोलेगा. Then there is something called extinct in wild. This species no more exist in nature. Nature in the sense forest and all, but in lab, in botanical garden, in zoo, some of them may survive. In temple lakes, etc., they may survive. उन्हें बोलते हैं extinct in wild. Then the species which are very threatened, who may become extinct, they are critically endangered. They are extinct. They are not extinct right now. Whose population has become so low, whose population has declined a lot in recent years. They are called critically endangered. ऐसे ही जो थोड़ा कम threatened है, उसे हम बोलते हैं endangered. Critically endangered, endangered. Then vulnerable. These 3 categories are called threatened. Vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. ये तो extinct है, extinct and wild. These are threatened. सबसे ज़्यादा the ones who are threatened the most are critically endangered, a bit less threatened, endangered, and vulnerable. Then there are some species, they are called near threatened. They are not threatened, but they are also losing population, or they are facing other challenges because of which they are called near threatened. And then there is least concern. Least concerned is like near threatened के बाद least concern, like still their population is too much, they are not facing decline in population, they are not facing extinction. For example, if I talk about, let's say, Indian cobra, spectacled cobra, it is least concerned. बहुत है, हर गांव में मिल जाएगा, इसका लाइफ चिल है. But if I talk about king cobra, it is vulnerable. Or let me talk about crocodiles. एक इंडिया में 3 crocodilian species, उनमें से one is घड़ियाल. घड़ियाल is critically endangered. घड़ियाल is critically endangered. There is मगर, हम जिसे मगरमच्छ बोलते हैं ना, मगर, it's vulnerable. And then there is saltwater crocodile. Saltwater crocodile, it's least concern. Its population is so much that Andaman administration has been saying, please allow to kill some of them. They're creating a lot of problem for us. Their population is increasing so much, but they're protected under Wildlife Protection Act. If you kill them, you'll go to jail. For example, Sallu Bhai. Sallu Bhai is facing problem for what reason? Black buck. Black buck is least concerned. Black buck is least concerned. It is not facing extinction or anything. It is least concerned. But Wildlife Protection Act में it has been given very high protection, and thus he is facing. कोई कॉमन इंसान होता तो अब तक जेल की सजा काट चुका होता. भाई बीइंग ह्यूमन बन गए. Right? So did we understand the meaning of extinct, extinct in wild, critically endangered, endangered, vulnerable? These are threatened category, near threatened, least concern. इसके अलावा भी some categories are there. For example, one is data deficient. enough studies has not been done about. There is, then one is not evaluated. Is data deficient? A study has been done, but we do not know of enough data to give it one of these categories. And then there are some species which have not even been evaluated. Those are not evaluated categories. This is the first class, and because many of you have just started your preparation, so I did not want that you should not know what endangered or critically endangered is. That's why I took 5 minutes and explained this. But we will study this in a lot of details when we will study environment. Environment जब हम basic से पढ़ रहे होंगे, there I'll give you mechanisms also. Okay, when is a species called critically endangered? What are the criteria which should be satisfied? But for now, if it's threatened by extinction, some of may be very close to extinction. They are critically endangered, vulnerable, these are all threatened. The ones who are not threatened but are moving towards it are near threatened. The ones about whom we do not need to worry about a lot are least concerned. Then data deficient or not. These are the categories which we should be aware of. Now, so Asiatic elephant is endangered. It means ये threatened है. एशिया में मिलने वाला जो है, इंडिया में मिलता है, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में मिलता है, नेपाल में मिलता है, that is endangered. But when we come to African elephant, Africa में there are two species. One is savanna or bush elephant. Savanna or bush elephant will be the grassland में रहने वाला elephant. And then there is forest elephant, evergreen forest में. अब please understand this, common sense use करो. Evergreen forest, very dense forest. So there elephants with large bodies will face problem. So these are smaller elephants. Dense forest wale forest elephant will be smaller, whereas savanna, grasslands, larger body would be allowed. So largest terrestrial mammal on earth is savanna elephant. हम बोलते हैं ना elephant सबसे बड़ा जमीन पे रहने वाला सबसे बड़ा जानवर है. We say that elephant is the largest animal on earth, largest land animal on earth. But which elephant? Savanna elephant. So savanna elephant are larger than the forest elephant and their tusk curve outward. They are the largest species of elephant and the biggest terrestrial animal on. Whereas forest elephant are uniquely adapted to dense forest habitat of Congo basin. They are smaller and darker. Their tusks are straighter. Now please understand, if their tusks were curved, then again in dense forest they getting stuck. So their tusks are straighter. The size is smaller, so that you do not have to learn all these things. Understand the logic behind it, understand the reason behind it. They are smaller. There are also differences in size and the shape of the skull and skeleton. So this is critically endangered. So देखो, of the three species, Asiatic elephant is endangered, savanna elephant is endangered, but forest elephant is critically. Fine. Distribution, this is the distribution. ये अफ्रीका वाले हैं, this is African bush elephant or savanna elephant, and this is evergreen forest वाले forest elephant, and this is the distribution of Asiatic elephant. Okay, now we have to study about Bornean elephant. News में तो क्या था, Bornean elephant था ना. तो पहले ना let's understand a bit about island of Borneo, Borneo Island. If you come here, देखो, this island, this island, this island, this island, and a part of this island is part of Indonesia. Indonesia is a big country. This island is part of Indonesia, Sumatra, Java. This island is Borneo. Borneo में there are three countries. ऊपर वाला part मलेशिया का है, छोटा सा country है ब्रुनेई, and most of it is. This is Borneo Island, one of the largest islands of the world. Not the largest, one of the largest. And if I bring you back to this image, on the north side of Borneo, you find some Asiatic elephants. But these Asiatic elephants were separated from rest of the Asiatic elephants around 3 lakh years ago. At one point of time, animals could have moved from this place to this place because the water level may have been lesser, but with water level rose, they got separated and they have evolved into separate subspecies. We are still not calling them separate species, but species के अंदर ही further division subspecies. So Bornean islands are Asiatic island, Bornean elephant are Asiatic elephants only, but a subspecies of Asia. अभी न्यूज में Bornean elephant है. So let's talk about Bornean elephant is a subspecies of Asiatic elephant. वो common sense भी है, it cannot be subspecies of African elephant. It's on this side, right? Unique feature देखिए, they are pretty small, even smaller than Asiatic. Asiatic elephants anyways are smaller than savanna elephant. Which are the largest elephant on earth? Savanna, right? Asiatic elephants are smaller than them, but these are particularly smaller than even Asiatic. They have long tails. Sometimes you'll see their tails are so long that they touch ground. They have relatively large ears. Actually, their head and their skull has become smaller. Ears have remained large, so they appear to be large. And they have shorter and straighter tusks. So these are smaller. Bornean elephants are smaller elephants when compared to Asiatic elephants. So ये Bornean elephants are also Asiatic elephants. Please note it, a subspecies of that. Okay, now DNA evidence suggests that this subspecies separated from their Asian counterpart around 3 lakh years ago, and they are found at two places. There are two distinct populations. One live in Sabah, Malaysian Borneo, and other live in Kalimantan. So if I go to this island, no, तो इसका जो इंडोनेशियन पार्ट है उसे हम बोलते हैं कालीमंतन, और जो मलेशियन पार्ट है ऊपर वाला उसे बोलते हैं सबा. तो a population of this is found in Sabah, and rest of it is found in Kalimantan here. We just saw that in the original image, in the original distribution here. If you see here, थोड़ा सा मलेशिया वाले पार्ट में भी है, थोड़ा सा इंडोनेशिया. So recently IUCN, we just spoke about IUCN. IUCN categorize species on the basis of threat they face. They have categorized them as endangered. Sorry, they have categorized Bornean islands as endangered because their population has reduced. Satellite tracking से they have determined that the population is around 1000 individuals. उसमें breeding adults are only, they are still not critically endangered, but they have been classified as endangered. Why endangered? 60% of their habitat has been lost. 60% of the places where they could have lived has been lost. It's now because they have been declared endangered, more focus, more emphasis by Indonesia and Malaysia on these elephants could be. I hope समझ में आया. Okay, let's go to another fact which was in news recently. Panerghat Biological Park. एक ना in near Bangalore. Anyone from Bangalore? Bangalore? No. Have you been there? नहीं. In Bangalore, there is a zoo called Panerghat Biological. Actually, that zoo or that biological park has been separated from a national park. So there is a national park called Panerghat National Park. उसका एक part has been separated for biological, for zoo purposes. That is called Panerghat Biological Park. Panerghat Biological. समझ गए? तो एक नेशनल पार्क का पार्ट सेग्रीगेट कर दिया गया है, सेपरेट कर दिया गया है, विच इज एक्टिंग लाइक जू. पर्पस क्या है? Purpose tourism. Purpose people of Bangalore should be able to visit, tourists should be able to visit, income will be generated. Plus zoo में ex situ conservation भी. In forest some species may not be able to survive. They are kept in zoo. वहाँ पे breeding करवाया जाता है, and then in this way conservation also happens. So Panerghat Biological Park is that place. Why was it in news recently? It was in news recently because India का largest leopard safari has been established here. This leopard safari is not only the largest in the country, but is the first in South India. In northern India we have leopard safari, but in South India this is the first leopard safari and the largest one. A total 20 hectare has been demarcated for this safari, has been allocated to this safari, and 8 leopards are there in this safari. So now if you go to Banerghat Biological Park, you will also be able to participate in this safari. Megha has been to this park. Grape Shot has a good question. Which point separates a species and a subspecies? We'll talk about that. We'll उसके लिए ना हमें पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा, how do we separate two different species? Why African elephant and Asiatic elephants, or why Savannah elephant and forest elephant are two different species? We'll come to that. We'll understand that. Do not worry. Okay, let's come back to this. So for this reason, कि India एक statement हो सकता है exam में कि Banerghat has the only leopard safari in India. You will say no, wrong. It has the largest leopard safari in India. It has the only leopard safari of South India. Yes. Right? Are we comfortable? अब थोड़ा सा ना leopard के बारे में हम जान भी लेते हैं. This year in preliminary examination they had asked a few things about the behavior of leopard. Leopard. Look at this animal. This is leopard. A big cat. A big cat. Same genus as that of tiger. Tiger क्या होता है? Panthera tigris. ये है Panthera ursia. जैसे we are Homo sapiens. ना हमारे जीनस के कोई और स्पीसीज बचा नहीं है. In the past we had Homo erectus, Homo neanderthals. ऐसे we had other species also in this genus, but now in Homo genus there is only one species, Homo sapiens. But in other genuses there are multiple species. जैसे Panthera tigris tiger है, leopard है. Leopard में भी we have snow leopard also. We have ये clouded leopard found in northeastern India. But here we are going to talk about Indian leopard. Indian leopard is found throughout the country except in like the deserts of Rajasthan and in the places above tree line in the Himalayas. Above tree line, जब trees जहाँ पे नहीं उग सकते उसके beyond we find clouded leopard. Oh sorry, snow leopard. Snow leopard, not cloud. Clouded are found in northeastern. वहाँ snow leopard मिलता है. Rest of the place में what do we find? Indian leopard. This Indian leopard. Indian leopard has the largest population and largest area outside for any leopard outside Africa. Indian leopard, if you come here, among all subspecies, the Indian leopard retain the largest population size range outside Africa. In areas devoid of any other large carnivore, this may also act as umbrella species. So Indian leopard may also act as umbrella species. Achha, what is umbrella species? Do we understand what umbrella species are? Who's going to answer me? Which protect other species? No, it doesn't actually protect other species, but yes, the meaning is same. Umbrella species are those species that if you take measures to protect this species, a lot of other species get protected. So in places where other carnivores are not there, if you take measures to protect leopard, it means you will protect a lot of herbivorous animals also, so that for leopard they are available as food. And if you have to protect herbivorous animals also, you protect grass, plants, etc. Because if grass, plants, those things are not there, so herbivorous animals will not survive. If herbivorous animals would not survive, leopards will not get food. So we call leopard an umbrella species because when we take measures to protect leopard, the entire ecosystem gets protected. Are we getting this? Okay. Now, behavior of leopard. Leopard, you will never find leopard in groups. It's a solitary animal. It's a solitary animal. They each have their own territory and they leave scratches on trees to tell other leopards, this is my territory. Or they'll leave their urine scent marks. They'll leave their poop to warn other leopards, this is my territory. So they are lonely. Lonely मतलब lonely negative हो जाता है, solitary बोलना चाहिए. They are solitary. Lonely वो वाला था जो मैसेज कर रहा था. They are solitary and they are territorial in nature. इस साल प्री में क्वेश्चन था. One of the statement was unlike lions, they are not territorial in nature. So something like this was there. So we had to know that leopards are territorial in nature. Even they, by urine smell, by poop and by scratches, identify their area, and other leopards should not enter their area. Sometimes they cross into each other's territory, but for love making. हंसो मत, सच में. For mating purposes, males and females will cross territories, but only to, otherwise they will protect their territory like anything. Then they are nocturnal too. रात में निकलते हैं. दिन में most of the time they'll sleep. Sometimes you will see leopards entering villages in daytime also. So it is not like they cannot see in daytime and they cannot go out in daytime. They can go out at daytime, but mostly they go out at night, and they prefer to rest during daytime. And there is no mating season. Like humans, ऐसा नहीं है कि सर्दियों में ही mating season होगा, है ना? They get their ovulation हर कुछ महीनों में, और they can get pregnant हर कुछ महीनों में, and they can keep reproducing throughout the year. You may be thinking कि ये सब क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं? इस साल prelims में question आया था. I never taught this, but this year they asked a question on that. The question was about lions. Lions do not have any mating season. तो हम एक दो बार पढ़ लेते हैं, हमें समझ में आता है कि most of these animals do not have any particular mating season. Mammals के केस में very few mammals are there where you will find particular mating season. वरना सोचो, mammals में हम humans को जानते हैं. Do we have a mating season? Cows, buffaloes, do they have a mating season? No. ऐसे ही leopard और lion, they do not have any mating season. अब देखो IUCN में what is the status? Vulnerable. Threatened में 3 categories थे, critically endangered, endangered, vulnerable. They are vulnerable. Wildlife Protection Act में they are protected, they are given highest protection, Schedule 1 में. तो पहले Wildlife Protection Act में ना 6 schedule हुआ करते थे. Now there are only 4 schedules after 2022 amendment. But even in that, it is in Schedule 1 only. That's why bracket में I have written even after 2022 amendment. I'm trying to tell you it's updated. Even in the updated list, it's in Schedule 1. UPSC did not focus on this updated thing, and they asked a question this year. और वो question ही गलत हो गया. In one statement they said कि it is categorized as vermin. ये उसकी बात. हाँ. There's a bat which looks like fox. तो उसको fruit fox या कुछ flying fox कुछ ऐसा बोलते हैं. Flying fox बोलते हैं. So they had given first statement as flying fox is classified as vermin under Wildlife Protection Act. Whereas after 2022 amendment, that schedule has been removed where a species is categorized as vermin. The first statement is wrong, and second statement was also wrong, and there was no option where both the statements could be wrong. So UPSC का question गलत हो गया because they did not focus on the amendment. If they knew कि vermin वाला schedule has been replaced, that question would not have been wrong. If they had attended my classes. Because I spent a lot of time in explaining Wildlife Protection Act के चारों schedule, how from 6th schedule we have come to 4 schedules. I had spent a lot of time on that. That's why when I was discussing the question, I said first for sure is wrong, answer is this. Because there was only one option where first was wrong. But later I realized second is also wrong. And there is no answer left, where both 1 and 2 are wrong. In the options, there was no option left where both 1 and 2 were wrong. Got it? Okay. Now, तो IUCN में vulnerable है, Wildlife Protection Act में it's in Schedule 1, and CITES ना Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. ये एक international convention है which regulates or controls international trade, so that because of trade, species do not get affected, threatened. So वहाँ पे भी it has been given highest protection. Okay. Now here we have small details about population distribution. So if you go region wise, where is leopard found the most? You will see in India, central India and eastern Ghats region. देखो, let me open the Google map again to open the map of India. India में हमने we have divided leopard population in 4 regions. Central India and eastern Ghats. This has the highest leopard population. This is one region. Then Western Ghats has the second highest number of leopard. If you come here, you will see Central India and Eastern Ghats had 8,000 population, Western Ghat has 3,000 population. Then Shivalik Hills and Gangetic Plains. Shivalik Hills are Uttarakhand वाला region से लेकर Gangetic Plains, गंगा उत्तर प्रदेश बिहार वाला region, and then northeastern landscape. So if landscape wise you are asked which is the region which has highest population, Central India and Eastern Ghats, followed by Western Ghats, then Shivalik and Gangetic Plains, and then northeast. This is also the order for tigers. आपसे पूछा जाए टाइगर का सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन कहाँ है, यू विल से सेंट्रल इंडिया एंड ईस्टर्न घाट्स हाईएस्ट, देन वेस्टर्न घाट्स, देन शिवालिक एंड गैंगेटिक प्लेन्स, देन नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. बट इन केस ऑफ टाइगर वी गेट अ फिफ्थ रीजन ऑल्सो. इन केस ऑफ टाइगर वी गेट सुंदरबंस ऑल्सो. सुंदरबंस में वी हैव टाइगर्स बट नॉट लेपर्ड. तो लेपर्ड के लिए देयर आर ओनली 4 रीजन्स, बट टाइगर के लिए वी हैव अ फिफ्थ रीजन. ओके, देन वन लास्ट थिंग दैट यू शुड नोटिस, हमने रीजन वाइज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन तो देख लिया, स्टेट वाइज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन देख लो. स्टेट विथ हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ लेपर्ड, मध्य प्रदेश हैज द हाईएस्ट नंबर, फॉलोड बाय कर्नाटका, महाराष्ट्र एंड तमिलनाडु. इससे ज्यादा नहीं जानना, इससे वी डू नॉट हैव टू रिमेंबर रिकॉल एनीथिंग. गॉट इट? आर वी ऑल कंफर्टेबल? श्योर? ओके. तो these were some facts for preliminary examination that we should be look. So we'll continuously keep on looking at most of the current facts, and then in January, हम जनवरी में क्या करेंगे ना, we have studied Changi 6 today, but in January जब हम target prelims शुरू करेंगे, we'll start with basics of science plus current affairs. So when we would have done most of the current affairs, it would be very easy for us at that time to do everything. Now एक और चीज, one more thing, one more question that you would have is this, sir, which current affairs would you cover? Will it be from June 2024 or May 2024 or April 2024? है ना? I'll cover all current affairs that I find is relevant for you, even if it's 2 years old. Even if something has happened in 2020 and is relevant, I'll cover that. Please do not worry. So if you are coming to me, if you are studying with me, your current affairs is my responsibility. It's my headache. Your headache should be finishing what is being done in class. You assure me, you promise me, Sunday को test, tomorrow you will get your syllabus for Sunday's test. आप सब लोग जो भी जितने लोग एडमिशन ले रहे हैं उनको टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में ऐड कर दिया जाएगा. यू विल ऑल बी एडेड इन द टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. देयर ऑन एवरी मंडे you will have syllabus for the test. You focus on those Sundays test and keep on improving. I'm not saying you top there, but this week if you score XYZ marks, if you are in some rank, try that next time वो थोड़ा सा improve हो. Keep on making small improvements every week. I assure you, your selection will not be a problem at all. But if you keep on going in a haphazard manner, then it would be a problem. देखो, you may think कि सर मुझे हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी आती है, I do not need to prepare it. Don't worry. Just मंडे को बैठ के अपने संडे का टेस्ट का सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर लो. उसके बाद ट्यूसडे टू सैटरडे डू व्हाटएवर यू वांट, but you will be able to do well in Sunday's test, and I'll be assured that you will be able to revise your entire syllabus 4-5 times, because we have planned these tests in such a manner that you are made to revise your syllabus 4-5 times. You are made to write a lot of MCQs. You are made to write a lot of answers. So focus on this aspect very carefully. Just एक बार ना देखो, most of you have come here because someone has recommended you. मेरा कोई वैसा मार्केटिंग टीम नहीं है जो कि बहुत सारा मार्केटिंग कर रहा होगा और यूट्यूब ऐड रन हो रहे होंगे, गूगल ऐड रन हो रहे होंगे, कोरा पे बहुत सारे रैंडम फेक रिव्यूज लिखवाए होंगे. ऐसा नहीं होगा. ऑल ऑफ यू हैव कम बिकॉज ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ सम स्टूडेंट. किसी ने आपको रिकमेंड किया होगा. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर. कोई ऐसा है जो बस एड वैड देख के आया मेरे करंट अफेयर्स प्रोग्राम में? एनीवन? नॉट अ सिंगल वन, राइट? एवरीवन. तो जिसने भी आपको रिकमेंड किया है ना, से पूछना व्हाट इज द ट्रस्ट दैट दे हैव ऑन मी. So trust me, follow Sunday test schedule seriously. I will assure you, all of you will be way well prepared than anyone else. Give me 2 months, 2.5 months, September 15 तक, जब तक उन बच्चों के लिए मैं काम कर रहा हूँ जो बच्चे मेंस लिख रहे हैं. उसके बाद I'll personally start mentoring each one of you. है ना? आज this thing is happening on YouTube, so I'm not giving you my number because then it will become public. In the next class और आज ही ग्रुप पे मैं I'll send you my number also. ठीक है? प्रेफरेबली आप मैसेज करिए और अपना बैच बता के, नाम बैच बता के मैसेज करिए. आई विल गेट बैक टू यू बाय नाइट ओनली, बाय बिफोर 10 PM. तो दिन भर बिकॉज ऑफ क्लासेस एंड अदर वर्क आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिप्लाई, बट मैं 9 बजे 10 बजे घर पहुंचता हूँ. फर्स्ट थिंग आई डू इज आई डोंट लुक एट माई मिस्ड कॉल्स, आई लुक एट दी मैसेजेस, बिकॉज मिस्ड कॉल बहुत सारे अननोन नंबर से हैं क्या कुछ, बट मैसेजेस में आई लुक एट कौन से मेरे बच्चों के मैसेजेस. इसलिए योर बैच, योर नेम, उसके साथ मैसेज करिए. आई विल गेट बैक टू यू. आपको ऑफिस में कोई प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, कुछ मिल रहा है कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है, 24 आवर्स में वो रिजॉल्व नहीं होता, सेंड द स्क्रीनशॉट टू मी. आई विल मेक श्योर दैट इट इज. एंड एक बार ट्रस्ट करके अच्छे से पढ़ना शुरू करिए. आई एम प्रॉमिसिंग यू, you will be the best prepared people both for prelims mains, and अगर prelims mains के लिए best prepared हो तो interview के लिए तो होगी. Okay, I'll take one or two more minutes to take the online doubts and then आज class खत्म करते हैं. Keystone species equal to umbrella species? Not necessarily बेटा. देखो, keystone species is a species which is so important that if you remove that species, the entire system collapses. Okay, now keystone species may be an umbrella species, may not be an umbrella species, right? Not all umbrella species are keystone species. So umbrella species are those species जिनके ऊपर आप काम करोगे तो entire ecosystem also gets protected. There is slight difference, है ना? कई बार most of the time keystone species would also be umbrella species. Umbrella species would also be keystone species, but ऐसे difference हो सकता है. Okay. I would be grateful if you could once please clarify when will you be covering static portion of the subjects environment science तक. January जब हम टारगेट प्री में पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे, अभी से दिसंबर तक our focus is on what? Pre-Cum-Mains, current affairs, weekend test. January में we'll start with target prelims. First thing that we'll do is we'll finish entire science and technology, then we'll finish environment, then we'll move on to economy. This is the order that we will follow. Too much to remember from all the subjects, any tricks? देखो, it's because you're trying to cram everything. Do not do that. हमेशा ना देखो, एक तो मेंस के जितने भी टॉपिक्स पढ़े हैं उसमें बस कीवर्ड देखो and think कि with that keyword are you able to expand the whole thing, because you'll not be able to cram everything. You'll just have to remember the main point and using that main point in your own language. You'll have to write कि bird flu public health issue. Explain that. कि then you should be able to recall कि 900 people in this period, 50% fatality, with small mutation, it may become more contagious and become big issue. It's not the way in which it is written in the notes. It's something because I've read it, I understand the core idea. But for me, the point that I should be able to recall is public health, economy. अब इकोनॉमिक इशू आपको लिखना है, सोचो ना बर्ड फ्लू से, बर्ड फ्लू पोल्ट्री सेक्टर में कलिंग, रेवेन्यू लॉस, डिमांड फॉर चिकन एग्स रिड्यूस, अगेन इकोनॉमिक लॉस, द प्लेसेस वेयर बर्ड फ्लू स्प्रेडिंग, टूरिज्म गेट्स अफेक्टेड देयर, अगेन इकोनॉमिक लॉस. कॉमन सेंस से हो रहा है ना. यू विल नॉट हैव टू, जैसे थिंक ऑफ चैंगी 6 सिग्निफिकेंस पढ़ा है आपने, जियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस बिटवीन टू साइड्स. अब सारे पॉइंट्स ऐसे याद थोड़ी रखने हैं. जियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस, अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट्स ओरिजिन. हाउ विल वी अंडरस्टैंड द ओरिजिन? ओह, वी हैव गॉट द मटेरियल फ्रॉम साउथ पोल एटकिन बेसिन, बिकॉज इट इज द लार्जेस्ट एंड द ओल्डेस्ट ऑफ द क्रेटर, कैन गिव अस दैट. तो सब कुछ हमेशा याद नहीं रखना है, बस ये की पॉइंट्स याद रखोगे और उससे सोचोगे तो इट वुड बी इजी. Okay, and because you are doing this thing for the first time, you are feeling कि ये इतनी सारी नई नई चीजें हैं. Eventually you would have studied like leopards वगैरह में ना कभी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. Don't worry. The environment biodiversity is my area. I'll make sure that you have everything on your tips. जितना पढ़ने की जरूरत होगी, it will be on your tips. आपको there are 106 national parks in the country. Each of my student who goes out of the class in February have 106 national park. Their features on their tips. That is my concern. Okay, अभी don't worry about it. Just focus on Sunday's test before starting to do anything. Focus on Sunday's test, finish it. उसके बाद जो मर्जी वो करो, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Keep on writing Sunday's test. Please understand. देखो, करंट अफेयर्स प्रोग्राम का फीस 20,000 22,000 कुछ वैसा है. आप ना इससे ज़्यादा फी बस टेस्ट देने के लिए दे देते हो. This is the reality. To understand the impact that this course is going to have, I'm going to teach you for next 15 months regularly. I'm going to take test or make you write answers, take test or make you do a lot of objective questions regularly. I promise you this, once you finish this course, you will yourself say, I did not study this much in GS Foundation. आपने कहीं से भी पढ़ा होगा, जितना सिर्फ आप current affairs में पढ़ के जा रहे हो समझ के. Each and every student who has completed this course would tell you that. Okay, तो trust करो, अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो. Follow it for 2-3 months, you'll realize how improved you are. Keep on doing whatever you want to do in your way. Just Sunday के टेस्ट का syllabus finish कर लो, उसके बाद जो मर्जी करना है वो करो. If you'll keep doing that, I will be assured that you have revised everything 4-5 times by February. Okay, so I'll see you next Saturday, and from next week we have 2 classes every week. So I'll see you next Saturday, and we'll first finish the polity section, the 3 sections from GS2, and next week we'll have more number of topics. Mains में around 15 topics we'll be doing every week for mains, and around 15-20 topics for preliminary examination. We'll keep doing it. इस वीक के लिए, इस संडे के टेस्ट के लिए आप ये पढ़ेंगे. Then in the monthly test this will come again. In the 3 monthly test this will come again. In the 6 monthly test this will come again. You would revise this booklet at least 3-4 times before December. It will not be that big a trouble. But अगर आप टेस्ट को फॉलो नहीं करोगे, in February आपके पास इतना बंडल ऑफ मटेरियल होगा, हर वीक बुकलेट मिल के, and you will be like, अब ये कैसे करूँ मैं. आप टेस्ट को फॉलो करोगे, in February आपके पास इतना मटेरियल होगा, you will be like, को इतना आता है. That will give you, this course may become a source of confidence or a source of discouragement कि यार मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं है. Be disciplined, make this course a source of confidence. क्या इतना पढ़ लिया, अब कैसे ही सिलेक्शन दो, इतने आंसर्स लिखे हैं, अब कैसे ही सिलेक्शन दो. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच.